Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you, folks. Good to see you. There's 5 people in here. There's 2 people in here. Good to see you guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm just getting started. Waiting for some ops. But here, let me see. I already know this thing looks goofed up. Welcome in. Oh, I got somebody. I got somebody. Just wait a sec. I'm gonna bring you up. I'm gonna bring you up.
Hello.
Yo. What you got for me?
So I have a question. Why should I believe or trust in a Christian God?
Yep.
What does that mean?
So yeah, basically, my name's Coco. I'm an agnostic, so if you ask me, does God exist? I say I don't know if God exists. And I'm just asking, like, for any Christians out there, like, why should I believe or trust in the Christian God? I don't see any good reason to.
Wait, but aren't you black? I thought most black people were Christian.
Oh yeah, you're actually right. I am a descendant of Nigeria, so like I'm Nigerian, and most Nigerians are gonna be Christian or Catholic. Um, and I think the majority in the United States of black or African Americans are going to be like some religious faith or like Christian. So,
I mean, you don't really look Nigerian though. You look more like
what?
Eritrean.
I don't know what that is or where that nationality's from.
It's a country in East Africa next to Ethiopia and Somalia and Djibouti.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Some people say I could pass for like Puerto Rican, but I'm not sure about that. Like a dark skin, like Hispanic.
No,
I'm
you
not sure.
could. No, Cuban, not Puerto
Cuban.
Rican.
Yeah, for sure. Like some
So
people,
like,
yeah. But go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, so like if you were a Christian, what denomination would you be? I would be Catholic because I feel like their aesthetic is like the most aesthetic.
Um, I don't know. I don't think I'll be going back to Christianity anytime, and I'm not even an atheist. I mean, like, I'm an atheist in a psychological sense, but I guess, like, if I had to go back, it'd probably be, like, Eastern Orthodoxy or Catholicism, most likely.
Oh no, I was raised Christian, but I was raised in like a Caribbean Christian household. So it was low key not even like real Christianity. But like Christianity is kind of aesthetic though, like if that makes sense. Like kind of like Pinterest and shit.
I mean, yeah, like, they have good, like, stained glasses, and, like, they have pretty cathedrals, but, I
No,
don't
I can
know.
never be a Christian. I feel like their entire religion is stupid. Well, maybe that's just because I'm like an anti-theist and I don't like Christians or
Yeah.
Christianity.
I
Oh,
have
sorry,
a,
that's a little offensive.
I have a couple friends who are like that. And I think, like, yeah, like, there's been a history of Christians being, like, homophobic and, like, Christianity seeping into our government, so I can understand anti theism. But I'm not even quite there yet either. But yeah, Christianity has done a significant amount of harm that is warranting some people wanting it to be banned, you know? Oh, I didn't mute you. Oh no, yeah, I haven't pressed a single thing. I didn't mute you. My hands right now are undoing this. Oh no, I didn't mute you. I swear.
Wait, why did you mute me? I didn't even do
Oh
anything.
no, I didn't. I swear. Like I'm literally like messing with like headphones right now.
Oh, it said I was muted by my moderator.
I don't know who it was. I mean, I'm not even sure if my mods are in here. No, yeah, I didn't
So
unmute you.
So, like, do you debate a lot about like religion?
Yeah, my channel is it's a project I've been doing for 2 years. I want to be a social media content creator, and basically like I debate people. I host debates, and I've hosted like a ton of like formal professional debates. Some of them have even been with world renowned, well, not world renowned, but like PhD earners, right? I co-hosted a professional debate between PhD Ryan Mullins, who is a Christian who studies theology and has degrees in philosophy and is also a teacher, and he debated another PhD candidate or earner named Dr. Kirshner. I forget his first name, but he's an atheist and he's also a lecturer at a college for um, philosophy and probably philosophy, not so much theology. Um, but yeah, like I've hosted
Or are you
many.
into philosophy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like philosophy. I like logic, but I could read more books on it. But like I do have like a slight knowledge of it. I can handle myself around some conversations or a lot of conversations on TikTok.
Oh, interesting. So like, um, sorry, I'm like high right now. Oh, so can you say that on TikTok?
I would say elevated, but I also totally understand. I'm 420 friendly, for sure.
I'm not smoking weed.
Oh well, okay, I'll say lettuce. Say lettuce. You know,
I'm not smoking lettuce.
you know. But yeah, no, I'm totally with it. To be honest, they need to make it legal. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with it.
Oh, it's legal in my country.
You know, it's I'm in a state where it's not legal.
Oh, what state are you from? I lived in Georgia for like most of my life.
I'm a Texas resident.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, conservative ass state, bro. I'm in the
No, I
Bible
lived in
Belt.
Georgia. I don't know why I'm being shady. No, but I lived in Atlanta though. Atlanta is like left as fuck. Well, blue as fuck.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I want to be in a blue state. I'm a liberal, and I dabble in politics. I dabble in politics. I'm a
I mean, is
liberal.
religion not politics? Religion is like political.
It's more theological, but I guess it can like dabble into the political side. Political is more like government affairs. Really,
Hello,
Rich.
how are you?
What's up? Um, but yeah, if you were to ask me, I'm a liberal socialist, but I could dive more into my political identity.
Oh, I would say that I'm like a. Oh, well, I know like people don't like to use the word communist, but I'm like low key like a communist and shit. But that's just because it's aesthetic. Like I feel like I'm really performative, so
Yeah,
that's why.
I
I love you.
I definitely
The
think that we
fact
should
you can
have.
admit that makes me want to kiss you.
Oh, but like, I think we should definitely have more socialistic like programs. I think the world would be a better place. I
Like social democracy.
I think so. I think like I would be I would be 100% completely happy with going to work and having 50% of my income taxed if it meant that like I get guaranteed a house and everybody gets guaranteed a house, right? And everyone gets like a place to live, access to like school for free, free healthcare, and um, just ultimately a good living standard, right? I don't mind taxing myself 50% if everyone's guaranteed like fine living. Like, what's the issue with that? So I'm definitely for like more socialistic programs.
That's the thing. I feel like it would work very well in theory, but in practice, many people would skimp on the quality of these
I think
programs.
that it would work
And
better
these,
in small
It has to
countries.
be assured by the government, right? So the idea is that we would have hopefully you'd have a democratic government with a
Wait, who's
well-informed
talking?
populace
Dream of
that could
Dawn,
fund
the
dreams.
blue
There,
man.
it says that their profile is just like disappeared from me.
No, no, he's still here.
That's because I'm a wizard and I hide I'm a warlock, I mean, and I hide in the shadows.
Oh,
who's your
Together
really?
patron?
with the shadow demon. Anyway,
But no,
Who's
Oh,
your
I looked
patron?
interrupted you, but I didn't even know who was speaking because for some reason your like panel is black.
no. TikTok
dude, I don't
glitches.
even remember. I'm trying to remember the last time I played a warlock. I haven't played D&D in a long fucking time. Holy shit! What are other?
I mean,
Fuck, I
for me,
remember one
my
time I was like a cleric for I think Tiamat.
oh, was that like a
Which is
clan
the
or
Platinum
something?
Dragon.
Hmm.
Sorry, no. There's a game called Dungeons and Dragons. It's a role playing game. There's
I
a
know
whole
what
bunch of lore
Dungeons and
associated
Dragons
with-
is.
Sorry.
Or play it too.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
let's
I
start.
spend
Back
most
to
of
the
my
thing
time on
with,
the internet like scamming people, so I don't really play like games and stuff.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
But no,
I
like
don't-
but what you guys were saying was 100% completely accurate. Like, yeah, like in a socialistic system, our money would be taxed. The government would have to like use it the right way, and also there are countries right now where college is free, healthcare is free, and people are thriving. They've got like low rent, and they're living their best lives. People are taxed at a higher rate, but everyone's happy. Everyone can go to the hospital. People can afford things, lower rent, and people are living their best lives. Canada is one of them actually, but like I think they have shitty healthcare.
Canada's better, but it's not like.
Well,
there's
no,
still a lot of
like,
things we can
Canada is
do,
like a
you
social
could advance,
democracy.
Well, hold on, but go
I
ahead,
can-
Dream. He's from
well,
Canada.
no,
Oh, my bad,
Canadian.
my
Let
bad.
me- describe Canada. Canada is I think it's a constitutional democratic republic, right? Same thing as America. I think that when we say like social democracy, these words have no meaning in the current political climate. I think the thing to focus on is we have way broader social safety nets, allowing for more economic mobility. An example, I'll use my parents. They're immigrants who came to Canada. We started in government subsidized housing, and as time went on, because there was all these social safety nets, they were able to move up the economic ladder. There's a story that my dad tells me where when he first came to Canada, he was like, "Oh fuck, I'm out of money. Should I just do I just have to go back to Bangladesh?" And then someone was like, "No, there's government subsidized housing for people who are down on their luck." And so he ended up going to it, and he was able to keep us all housed. And then as they made more money, he contributed more to the economy, paid more taxes, got higher and higher position jobs, and now he has he's older. He has a net worth that is what you should see in people around their age, which is around 1 million, or a bit more, right? At near because you're near the end, you're near retirement age. And all of this was possible thanks to social safety nets. That's why my dad's a huge proponent of social safety nets, and I am too. And I think we get confused in this whole conversation with communism versus social democracy. It's hey, what really matters are the policies, right? And the economic sciences, right? One of the funny things I find so much is people be like, economics isn't real. And I'm just okay, so clearly you're just a science denier. Especially because economics generally agrees with a lot of more, quote, left-wing policies, end quote. Making first-year university, bachelor's degrees free is just seen to be is predicted to just create a huge boom in the economy, because every time they've made higher education more and more available, you see a economic boom right after, because you can now have more efficient workers working more efficient jobs. So I think it's like Coco said, it's feels as long as everyone's taxed, the tax is just there to fulfill certain programs. I'm sure if Coco basically was taxed 50% effectively, and he had public, like he said, public transport, well, he didn't say that one, good public transport, a place to live. Honestly, I think a house is a little greedy, but I think a nice apartment building would be nice, with good square footage,
at least
stuff like that. Then I don't think anyone.
Oh, you said your dad was from Bangladesh. You speak Bangla?
Bangladesh, yeah.
Oh, you speak Bangla?
Bangladesh, whatever. How the white people say it.
No, do you speak Bangla though?
আমি একটু বাংলা বলতে পারি, আমি এত বাংলা বলতে পারি না, বাংলা এত ভালো না।
Oh, cool.
সবসময় নাম কি? So basically, I forget a lot of words, stuff like that. I can understand when people are speaking Bengali to me, but I'm not very good at replying in Bengali.
Sorry, that was random.
One of my best friends happens to be from there, but I think he immigrated to Switzerland before that became a thing.
Oh no, I hate Switzerland.
Before Switzerland became a thing? Joking.
When I say before that became a thing, I mean before he grew up. I couldn't get the thought out, so I just said the thing that was in my head. Sorry.
Wait, actually, really quick, before we continue. Wait, Nils. Low-key, I watched that video back with the insults. Okay, I was low-key cooking, though, bro. I literally called him, Channing Tatum if he never made it. That was fire, bro.
Nah.
Let's be honest.
Who did you say that to?
Bro, that was pretty fire, bro. I literally told this guy that he posted a comment online. I literally didn't track the conversation and he thought it would be tough. That's tough. And bro, I posted a video recently where a guy was mean to me with his comments, and I roasted the fuck out of him. But I do need to work on my insults, though. You're right. But also, it was fine.
You're not. You need to understand the greats. Okay, have you ever heard of low tier God?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone has.
Him. There's some great shit talkers. Okay. Fuck.
Wait, you kind of look like him.
Bill Burr's a great fucking shit talker, even though he's a fucking Saudi Arabian shill piece of shit.
Yeah. Bill Burr is fire. Fire.
Okay,
you need to be going
so I cannot I'm just gonna engage with the prompt and then I'll have to go over a little bit. This just sort of piqued my curiosity, so to speak.
Go for it, and then we'll get back to the shit talking combo
Like
later.
peaks,
Alright.
like PEAK or PIQ.
PIQUED. Anyway, so here's the thing. I cannot give you empirical evidence as to why somebody should do something, because at the end of the day, that's somebody's choice. I really will not be the person to convince you in one conversation or in one debate as to why somebody could realistically trust in the Christian God. And for the most part, you could argue that all religion starts from a basis of indoctrination and trust through age. So the fact that
Sorry. Sorry, I realized I wasn't on mute. Oh, sorry, I realized.
What just happened to him? Did he just get?
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking. I'm
felt
trying.
like-
My computer's glitching.
From our perspective, it looks like he transmuted into you, Prook.
No, he disconnected. I was.
Okay, I think he's back.
hi.
Sorry.
Did I say something wrong or?
Oh no, you're good. My computer glitched. Like it does that because it's running Fortnite and TikTok at the same time. It's,
Oh, it's
Your
okay.
computer glitched and it dropped him.
I think so. I was like clicking and I couldn't see the guest request.
Does my icon look normal?
To be fair, I'm currently on my I'm on my phone's unlimited plan right now. I don't actually have internet. I just moved into a new place,
Base.
and yeah, I just moved into a new place.
Oh,
And
so
so
you don't
this-
have Wi-Fi?
Not yet. I have set up the plan, but my router isn't here yet. So, yeah.
Why don't you just use your hotspot?
I think that's
because
what
I
it
don't
says.
have one.
Oh, you don't have a hotspot? Sorry. I thought everyone lived in a first world country like me, but I forgot that people don't.
America is now a third world country.
It is.
Third world
Is
country
this
is-
hotspot feature that's existed for like over a decade?
I mean, ideologic. Well,
Okay.
you can make that argument, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so I'm just going
I
through
just
the.
never talk about phone features.
I'm going through the prefaces, and basically, I'm saying that I cannot be the person to like convince you of this, but I completely understand why somebody would. Faith is a powerful tool. I think a lot of people believe in the concept of faith and like the idea of someone watching over them. There's this concept in philosophy that generally the concept of divine intervention makes people feel safer because might makes right. When someone is mighty, you understand that the power is no longer in your hands, and so you feel freer of responsibility, of the general pressure of rising up to the pains and the unknowns of the world. If you know someone is covering you, then life is easier to work through. I don't think this is a unique phenomenon to the Christian God. It's just a thing that most religions go through, right? Like that comfort and safety blanket is just a thing that you have with every religion. In the case of the Christian God, though, I think he specifically, I'm just going to use the anything here, he specifically advocates for why he should have that, like, why that particular thing is such an alluring idea, in the sense that everyone, according to the myths of it, he specifically says that he has taken away all your sins and you can follow him and everything will be fine. He is there to love you, da 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 da. So I get why someone would. I'm not advocating for you to do it.
So would you say you agree with the principle that religion is the opiate of the masses?
No, I wouldn't say that, because that is assuming that everyone who is, who has some baseline of faith, or who has gone through life because of faith, is just taking some sort of drug.
That's not what
And-
that statement means.
No, it's saying like religion can be addicting, and it's a lot of people are addicted to it in regards to believing in it and adhering to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's-
it is used as a form of escapism from or the
reality.
hate for the natural world.
I just believe in it
Any
because,
dogma could.
yeah.
No, that's the thing, though. Any dogma could fall under that particular rabbit hole.
I mean, what
That's
is
the issue.
religion?
Religion isn't just a single set of dogmas. It's not just a single set of dogmatic beliefs. But what I'm specifically saying is that concept of religion being the opiate of the masses, as you said, just doesn't sit well with me, because it really gives off, it is an implication that these people are just
Like brainless
addicted
zombies.
to something.
Addicted to
Yeah.
something.
When the truth is that at some point, most people who fall to faith, or come to the point of faith, all come to it through a sense of indoctrination, or like through age and through time, and they've lived with it, or they come to it through a moment in crisis where they need structure, or they come to it to a point where they find themselves. They come to a point where they need to grow, and they find themselves and find comfort in it. And I'm saying that comfort, what the argument that I'm making is that comfort is very alluring. And in the case of the Christian God, I think that they do a good job, at the very least, with the Bible, convincing, like, basically making the case for why that is so alluring to people.
Are you a Christian, Rushy?
No.
What are you?
I used to be Christian. I'm agnostic.
Let's go!
Gotcha.
Team
Not to
agnostic!
sound like rude or anything, but I feel like agnosticism is kind of just like a cop out.
It sort of is. It's sitting on the fence, and it's kind of like, we don't know. We're not saying that God doesn't exist, and we're not saying that God does exist. And for me personally, I think there's good arguments on both sides. I'm trying to figure out which team I want to fight for.
What good argument would you say there is for a God existing?
I think there's a lot that we don't. Well, like, I can't name, like.
Contingency, argument from consciousness, nomological harmony.
Well, yeah, that's what he thinks. But for me, like.
Did you just say
Fine-tuning.
ontological? Sorry, I'm not paying
Nomological.
Oh, I thought you said ontological. Sorry, I hate when people say ontological. Like,
But
it's
that's
low-key
for,
mouth.
but that's for him. For me, like, I think, like, there are good arguments for Christianity in the sense that I think we don't understand everything about Christianity. I think there's hermeneutical principles that we need to observe. And of course, like, we're judging a text that was written in ancient times. And I guess, like one specific thing was, like, the response to the problem of evil. It's the transworld depravity concept by, what's his name?
Plantinga?
Yeah, by Plantinga. I think that's pretty good. And then also, like, I was in this debate, like, a year ago with Brody, and we were arguing about the problem of evil. And I think that character building is, like, a really good, like, response to, like, the problem of evil. So it kind of tosses out, like, human suffering to an extent. And then, like...
Wait, could you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, so essentially, the problem of evil is just going to be, like, if God is all good and all powerful, like, why is there evil and suffering in the world? And
No, that I understand. I'm trying to figure out why you think character building is a good answer to it.
Yeah, so when you look at the philosophy, there's two types of evils. There's going to be, like,
Pro toto and pro tanto?
No. Oh, well, that is the thing in philosophy, but there's natural evils and there's, like, human created evils. So I think that God wants, like, one could argue that God wants a world where people have the opportunity to love, to be brave, to, you know, experience what true loss is, and to also experience what true gain is. And the only way to have, like, bravery and loss and love and true gain, true loss, all that stuff, certain character traits, is if there's some kind of, like, imminent doom, or some kind of risk of loss, or some kind of, like, evils that would generate those things. So, in order to have bravery, where, like, a firefighter runs into a burning building, right, you have to have a burning building. and so maybe God might allow certain evils because people need to keep their character
Oh, sorry.
traits.
Except, that's the thing. Except, why does the building need to burn at all?
That is a good question. I asked that question, but I mean, I guess for some reason God desires like certain character traits, so we need to have the burning building so we could have the hero to save somebody at the end of the day. But at the same time,
Well, no. So if we're so sorry to butt in,
There
but
you
if
go.
we're talking about from a Christian perspective, it's not necessarily about, oh, God needs the building to be on fire. It's no, God allows the building to be on fire because in the end it will be vindicated. The whole point
Okay,
of
What Noah
why
Christian
was saying was
theology
permit
is
it?
right.
not the point of Christian theology is not the suffering builds character. It is that the suffering is vindicated.
well,
Okay,
actually,
So
that's
it's a
fair.
well,
Except,
actually,
why permit it?
wait. Let me argue that actually, because okay, so like there is a preconceived notion that I have from debating like a lot of Christians on TikTok, um, but let me argue that. So you're saying God doesn't need this evil, right? It's simply that He can bring like good out of the evil, and I've heard this argument before as well. But like if that's the case, right?
No, wait. Can we step back for a sec? Because I'm not sure. You said you have a preconceived notion, but you didn't say what it was, and
Oh,
then
or no,
you kind of go ahead.
oh yeah. So like so what I meant by that was like normally when I run this argument, Christians tend to die on the hill of God needs evil to happen, and that's the only way that He can have like free will, character building, or like certain things that God wants for the world. Like when God is doing like world creation, there's like a checklist of things that He wants in this world, and He can't have it unless there's evil. But if you're saying like evil's not necessary and it's simply something that God can bring good out of, then I mean there's a couple questions I could ask you there. Like
Okay,
So
so
I'm not. Hold on, Rishi. Let me respond to host really quick. So are you saying that because I'm saying that it's not necessarily an issue of character building or whatnot, it's actually about the vindication in the end. Are you saying that there's an implication there that you're going with that you want to ask me about?
oh no, I'm just saying it opens up the field for like so many other questions.
and I guess one of the questions is what I'm gonna post. Is what I'm gonna pose here. It's that if character building is the framework with which we're working, right? If we're saying that character building is why evil needs to exist,
No, but we're not. That's the point, Rishi.
No,
We're
that
not.
that is a theodicy to get to respond to the problem of evil, Slick. Right? That
It is, but me and the host were like agreeing that that's not what we're going with, and he was gonna then pose a question because of that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why me and
I don't
host
see
had
how
that
you're gonna get around the
clarification.
problem of evil if you don't take that approach, Slick.
Yeah. So basically, like a lot of Christians would like bite the bullet and say like, okay, God needs evil because He wants certain character traits, but He's not biting that bullet. So if that's the case, then that would sort of make evil like arbitrary. Evil is not something that has to happen. It's something that God is like, well, I'm allowing it to happen, and I can bring something good out of it, but like it doesn't have to happen. And I mean, like
yeah. See,
if that's
Yeah,
the
that is the
case,
point. The whole thing is that evil does not have to happen. It is a choice made by free creatures.
yeah,
The whole
yeah.
point of the Christian message is that evil was not the intention of creation. It literally says from the beginning, from the onset, that God said creation was good, and that henceforth creation introduced evil. So
well,
Yeah,
could
so
you make the argument?
if we're just talking about the Christian paradigm, I'm not speaking. I'm not sure what points you guys have in mind necessarily. I'm just speaking from my known Christian paradigm, which is taught by the quote unquote Orthodox Christian Church, or me
Okay,
personally, the Catholic Church.
okay, fair enough. But then, how do you? Okay, so we all understand that lying is a sin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get around the fact that God was the first person to lie?
But okay, actually, wait, that's going on a different topic, but like, let's stay on this train for a little bit. But yeah, we'll get to that. But hold on, before we get there.
Should-
Okay, so So given that, okay, so I'm arguing from this guy's worldview. You're saying that like, okay, so like it's not necessary. God can just bring something good out of it. So like my next question would be like, okay, whenever you walk past a bank, right? Um, okay, actually,
So I want to just clarify because I don't really like your phrasing of my stillman that you're giving just because it's throwing me off a bit. I'm
okay,
not saying it's not necessary because God will bring something good of it. I'm saying it's not necessary because one, it's not in the plan or will of God, but two, uh, that vindication is the end time. That is, what Christianity is. That is the gospel. That vindication. That is coming. That is, that is Jesus' death. That is what the whole gist and concept is. It's not that it's not necessary because God will just bring something good out of that evil. It's not necessary because one, it's outside of the will of God because it's the will of man that is that evil, and two, that evil will be vindicated in the end in the judgment.
okay, but
So
And
I guess
that's the clarification that needs to be given.
okay,
and
but
from there,
wait, hold
I'm
on, hold on, hold
sorry.
on. Just really, but I guess what I'm asking is like, so whenever God is like creating the world, and like, I'll grant that God has like all knowingness, right? He knows what's gonna happen in the future before it happens, so he knows, everything from the beginning of time to the end of time. Who's going to hell? Who's gonna make bad choices? Everything before he makes the first human, right? When God's creating this world he's trying to create, um, he doesn't need evil to exist. Is what I'm asking. Like, does he need evil to exist or not? No, he doesn't need evil to exist.
No, he doesn't need it. So
Oh, okay, okay,
why when
okay.
you say
Wait,
need,
that's good.
are you saying that evil is a necessary like part of creation?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like that's all I was trying to establish. Like, is it like a necessary part of creation? So it's not. So given that, um, okay. So then I would ask like, how many times would you say you've walked past a bank?
At least a couple hundred.
Okay, and each time that you did, you didn't rob the bank, right?
Yep.
And you would say that you still had free will, right?
Yep.
Okay, so given that you're able to have the option to, either do evil or do good, and you can freely choose to just do good and not do evil. So imagine if God created a world where humans just did that for every single possible situation where they could commit sin. Like, there's a logically possible world where God could.
That is the Christian heaven. That is the Christian heaven that is to come on Judgment Day.
Yeah,
You
so
literally just described what is to come.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So whenever God's creating a world, he has a multitude of worlds that he can create. And like one of them would be a world where humans have free will and they are faced with like certain situations where they can commit sin, and every single time freely they just choose to not commit sin. But God decided not to make that world. And that would accomplish
It's
free
not
will
that
and everything.
it's not that he so first of all, we don't exist in a multiverse. Christianity doesn't posit a multiverse theory.
I'm not even
So
saying that. I'm just saying that
but but
God has options.
the thing is you're putting restrictions on free creatures, which is an oxymoron.
Not
If
at
you're
I
all.
saying
don't
those
think that's what
creatures are
he's
free, then
saying.
there's always hold
He's
on,
just
Reshi, let me land the point.
Okay.
If you're saying those creatures are free, there's always that potentiality of sin there. In this new creation, there is no potentiality of sin. So
Not at all.
it's
that
not
doesn't
really
follow.
analogous to the actual
Yeah,
to the conversation at hand.
yeah, not at all. So like in this new world, right? Like they still have the potential to sin. They can still sin. They can still make that choice. They just never do it. Every single time when it comes to like robbing somebody, raping somebody, stabbing somebody, every single time they still have the ability to do it. They have the free will to do it. Just like you have the free will to rob a bank, but you just choose not to do it every single time. Um,
So
they
so I
just
would
don't
I
do it
would
every single
I,
time.
yeah, so I would say that yes, that world is basically depending on how you look at time, that world exists. Like this is the universe. This is that universe because that timeline is to come.
Not
Therefore, the universe that you're
necessarily.
speaking about, it does exist.
I don't think it does, right? Like we have a world where people rob, grape, pillage, and do all sorts of stuff, right?
Yes,
Like,
because we live in a fallen world.
yeah, yeah,
We account for that
yeah,
in
yeah,
Christian theology.
yeah. The world that
But
I'm
why?
describing is one where everything happened, right? Adam and Eve were there, serpent was there, and Adam and Eve just chose not to eat from the apple. And like every single time,
Well, then
for every single
again, well
instance,
then this world would look exactly like that. Then this would be that world that you're describing. I
I
will
mean,
posit.
no, this is not that world. Like, so there's.
Well, clearly, I just said because that we live in a fallen world. Adam and Eve ended up eating the fruit.
Adam and Eve aren't real people, bro.
Oh yeah. I know.
Okay,
So
but you
No,
get the point.
we're operating from this consensus that like everything, like that everything that matters to this argument is operating from that particular timeline,
yeah,
right? Adam and Eve eat the apple, then Adam and Eve eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, and then it comes to this, like it comes all the way to this point. This is
Well,
why evil exists.
okay. So Let's just backtrack here. Let's just start. Let's just start from scratch. Okay.
yeah.
Host. Let's just read. Let's start from scratch. Give me your question, your hypothetical, and I'll give you my answer, and then we'll delve in. We'll just start from scratch.
Okay, yeah. So basically, the prerequisites, right, is like you've chosen not to bite the bullet of like evil is not a necessity. So like it's not necessarily like any evil thing that happens, it didn't have to happen. So essentially, before God creates anything, right, he has options. He's all powerful. He can see the future, and so he can do anything that's like logically possible. That's the stance that like most Christians take. So
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. So like, there's this world that he created where people have free choice and they just do bad things, and this world is corrupted and a fallen world. But there's also a world where, just like you, whenever you walk past the bank, you freely choose to never rob it. You just never do it. God could have created a world where if free will is a requirement, there's still free will, and people just naturally choose to just never do the bad thing when it comes to lying, murdering, robbing, stealing. But God didn't create that world, and he created this one with evil, which didn't have to exist. So the question is like, why did he choose the bad world?
Yeah, that's a good line of questioning.
My retort to that would be, I do not believe that it is that you can have free creatures with potentiality to sin, and also forcibly enact a future in which they act a certain way. I mean, I think that the Christian conception of God, or the way that in which he enacts his plan for history and time, or his divine providence, is that this is essentially this is the time, quote unquote, if we're using the phrase or verbiage of timelines or worlds. This is the world in which the most people can be saved, do the most good, choose the least sin, for that redemption.
So
So
basically,
it
like,
the
so in saying that, you're kind of like omitting that like sin is something that's like arbitrary. You're saying like it has to happen. Like if
well,
like
when you say arbitrary, I mean, I think there's a bit of a conflation in terms, because you say arbitrary. If sin is arbitrary, no, sin has a definition. It's rebellion against God.
oh no, like I'm
But
saying
when you're
like
saying arbitrary, what do you mean?
arbitrary is like it didn't have to happen.
Okay, and yes, because sin is a choice, because it's defined as rebellion against God. Rebellion is an action. You have to, actually go against something in order to rebel.
Yeah.
Therefore, sin cannot be. I get what you're saying. It's not. It cannot be necessary. By definition.
Yeah. So like basically, so whenever I propose the world where people like freely choose to just do good things and like never do bad things, you're saying that world would somehow limit free will, and like human beings would be controlled or like robots. So if that's the case, you're basically saying that like in order for us to have free will, someone has to rob a bank at some point. It can't just be potential.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it necessitates it. I'm just saying the world that we live, like this, like in that hypothetical world, nobody would just ever rob a bank. That would just be what it is. You're saying, why didn't God just make it like that from the onset? Well, he did. That was what the garden was. The snake is the outside influence that was outside of his will, the evil that came in and caused the fall.
Or that's
So
not
why did-
necessarily that's not necessarily what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is that God knows everything that's going to happen throughout time, right? And
Yeah, but I'm telling you that literally following your logic, that like you're perfectly describing the Christian, the Christian idea of history, that God created this perfect world in which nobody could which nobody would sin, but they had the potentiality, because the
or,
thing is, the tree of knowledge of good and evil was still in the garden. Therefore, they had the potentiality to go against his will of them not eating it.
or no,
They still had
If I could have the floor
this
for a
world was
moment.
literally, as you're describing, technically this perfect world. We happen to fall. This happens to be a fallen world,
oh, wait,
but it
hold on,
will
hold
be
on.
redeemed.
We know like this, right? So like we have our current world where like Adam and Eve ate from the apple. People are robbing and stealing and raping. People are committing sin. That's just something that happens, right? If sin is not necessary, then there's this other hypothetical world where like God creates Adam and Eve. They don't eat from the apple. God creates humans. They never rob. They never steal. They never do the bad thing, right? So like my question is like, why couldn't God have created that world? And then you're saying like there's some kind of issue. Like, what would be the issue there?
No, I'm just not. So I'm telling you, I'm confused as to like this logic that you're following. I'm telling you that you're saying if God can create this perfect world in which nobody would sin,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he did. However, there was an outside influence of the devil.
Well,
This evil that because the thing is, we're saying evil is not evil. Sin or evil is not necessary. It was instantiated in time at some point. We believe that it wasn't humans who instantiated evil in the universe first. It was actually a fall in heaven before there was a fall on earth. Therefore,
even with that, right? Like, I can grant that. Let's say that in this world, yeah, like Satan, like yeah, there was a rebellion and you got Satan, right? I can grant in the hypothetical world, not even the angels sin. So nobody committed a single sin. Nobody did a sin ever. Like, why couldn't God create those worlds?
I'll just have 1 second.
Okay, more to the point, I don't even need to go that far in terms of him doing that, right? More to the point, a simple choice could have been made that would have just corrected this entire thing.
1 second. 1 second. Let me just respond to the host.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, you
Rashi.
guys have been going on for a minute.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
we've been
I'll
going on
just
for a while, but I am trying to get to the end
yeah,
of this trail real quick. And then
yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna say I would just say I don't necessarily know how to answer your question, so I'll just kind of cede the point for now,
which is
and
totally fine.
we can
Like,
move on.
w-
Yeah, we can move on. I'm fine with ceding the point. I'm not, it's not something I'm gonna really argue super hard on.
yeah, which is totally fine. Like, it literally happens to me sometimes. There are literally people who are like, there are Christians I respect on this app, who are literally like philosophers, and I always have to like concede because like I can't like track their point. Or no, it's not about tracking. It's just I don't have a response to it. But yeah, so like ultimately, like whenever you say like evil's not necessary, um, and basically like God is all powerful, he can do anything that's logically possible, right? So there's other worlds that are like options for him to create. And yeah, so like what if he created a world where no angels sin, no
But
humans
you have to
sin?
show me why though, or how. You have to show me. You have to prove that. You can't just say
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So like
that this is
so
logically possible.
yeah. But
Let's.
so essentially, like when I say it's logically possible, that means there's no p and non-p, right? There's nothing contradictory, right? So like an example of like a contradiction would be like if God created a world where cats aren't supposed to fly, but then somehow cats fly. It would be like a p and not p. God created a world where cats don't fly, and God created a world where there's cats flying. So it's kind of like weird. But like whenever it comes to like this, right? If God's goal is like free will and humans can choose freely to just not sin every single time, then there's no P and not P. There's nothing undermining really anything. It's free of contradiction. So it would be logically possible, and God's all powerful, and he can do anything that's logically possible. That's what most Christians hold to. Unless you want to say that God can do
Yeah.
like illogical things.
Yep.
No,
I
we can get back there. We'll move on though.
Yeah.
I wanted to
I
ask.
guess.
Yeah, go ahead, Rashi.
Sure.
I wanted to
I
ask you a
guess.
question. Actually.
Go ahead and ask.
I was just gonna say, you said you were a former Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware that we have like letters from someone who knew the brother of Christ?
Oh.
Yes.
And what do you think about that? Do you think that's interesting? Like, do you think that lends credibility? Like, that lends, like, do you think we can know things that happened in the first century regarding Jesus and what happened after he was crucified?
Yeah. I mean, you could, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that anything else is not possible to exist. At which point, I don't have the capacity or determination to go and look for these things. So, my
Yeah.
agnosticism.
Would you agree that, I don't want to make a resurrection debate as I always do, so I'm going to make it very short so we can get to other conversations. Would you agree that, you know, the disciples, James, the brother of Christ, and Paul claimed to have seen him alive again?
I'll concede to that.
Okay, and would you agree that this is, you know, we don't have documentation for this outside of the Christian claim? Like, this is unique to Christianity, that you get an enemy of the person in question and the friends and family all saying that they've seen someone alive again.
Again,
Well,
I'll
no, you
concede
you
to
do
that
have
because
extra biblical sources as well, and Josephus. Is
Oh yeah, of course. I'm just talking about the resurrection right now. The
true as that
resurrection
may
of
be, true as that may be, you don't necessarily need records to substantiate that being true, because we know things are true, and we can surmise other things are true through other pieces of evidence that exist. But that isn't my entire basis for being agnostic.
I'm just
So-
saying, do you think this is unique to Christianity that, you know,
No.
you have friends, family, and enemies saying that they've seen the same person alive again shortly after they have been killed?
Absolutely not.
Unalived.
No, it's in a bunch of myths.
Like what?
That people get resurrected after they die.
No, I agree with that, right? But where do you see the friends, family, and enemy testifying to this outside of Christianity?
Norse mythology and the Poetic Edda after Balder.
Where in Norse mythology do you have an enemy attestation? Do you have the friends and family and an enemy all testifying to seeing somebody risen?
After Balder comes back to life, Loki, Freya.
These aren't. Yeah, but are these the friends, family, and enemies of the person that are saying this?
Yes.
You know, people
Loki
said
would-
Elvis came back. Did the friends of Elvis say this? Did the family of Elvis say this? Did enemies of Elvis say this?
I just pointed out that in the Poetic Edda, when Balder comes back, Loki, who is the enemy who caused Ragnarok,
This is all a mythology, though. This did not happen in reality.
Yeah, which I'm, like-
extremely.
Which you could
We're talking about
realistically-
things that actually happen in reality, like historical information, right? Things that are historically verifiable. We're not talking about mythologies, stories people made up. We're talking about real historical events. So
We're
is there a time in
assuming that-
history where the
we're
friends,
assuming
family, and
that
an
the
enemy
Bible is
testified and to see
an
the same person?
historical record at this point?
Yes, historians widely agree that these people claim they saw Jesus alive again. Atheist
Okay.
historians.
Oh yeah, okay, that's based, but I don't think the Bible is a historical record by any means.
I think.
That's the
I mean,
thing.
it's
I don't
definitely
think that-
largely.
No, but what
it's
I'm
largely
saying
a
is that the
historical text.
scholars, based on the text that we have, come to the conclusion widely that these people claim to have seen Jesus alive again. And I'm just not seeing any comparable.
Well, wait 1 second, PRK. If I just want to ask the host a quick question. Do you believe that like the Bible is entirely either fictional and or mythology? Host?
I think maybe you can get like some things right, but I would not like look at the Bible and say like this is like an accurate representation of history. There's so many like
This is where I am as well.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
so
but what
there's so
I'm
many
saying, and I don't
unsubstantiated
want to
events.
derail from my point, right? What I'm saying is that historians widely agree that James, Peter, Paul, that's the friends of Jesus, that's the enemy of Jesus, that's a family member of Jesus. They claim they saw him alive again after he was crucified. I'm just saying that in no other situation ever in history has there been documentation like this. It is unique to Christianity. That's all I'm trying to say. And you brought up mythologies and all of this stuff. These people weren't even real people. Like, it's not comparable. It's not the same thing. It's not identical.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure we have like actual evidence that Loki exists. I'm gonna be like so honest.
No, there isn't any evidence that Loki exists because Loki isn't a person. Like, he was written by Snorri, who was a who was a Slavic theologian who discovered Christianity and wanted to write something that would unite the Slavic people in basically coming
So
to
some
Christ.
scam artist, right? Some scammer.
No, he wasn't a scam artist. He was a genuine person who was trying to unite
By making stuff up.
by telling a logically relevant story for tying two different belief systems together. That's synergism. It's not making things up. It's something that somebody else believed, and now he led them to a rebirth. With Ragnarok, he gave the idea. He let it be a lot easier for a lot of people to accept the concept of Christianity in those Slavic areas.
Bro,
So
what do
just
you-
to be
okay,
clear,
I'm
right?
sorry. What are you
There's
talking about,
not,
Christian?
and just so we can move on from this, but just to be clear, there's not an instance other than Christianity, outside of Christianity, in which you have the friends, family, and an enemy testifying to seeing the person alive. Okay, that you don't have it. It doesn't exist. We can move on.
No, what I'm saying is you are trying to get me to admit at one point or another that the Bible is a complete historical record that's factually backed, and I wouldn't say that.
No,
And
what I'm
that
saying
being
is this
said-
is what scholars routinely would agree with that are not even that are skeptical.
Live to live, and you say that, but this is not the mainstream thing.
What's
You've
not the
been
mainstream
told this
thing?
like a million things. Most scholars in history, especially, aren't going to say that the meeting between Paul, Peter, and James actually 100% factually happened.
Yeah, because
No
history
one
works
is
on
going to say
probability,
that.
Mark. What type of point is that? Of course, they're not going to say it 100% happened. They're going to see it
But your
likely
claim
happened.
is that
The
the vast majority
vast majority of
scholars
historians
take
think it
as
likely happened.
historically
Absolutely.
as a
The
historical
vast
fact,
majority of
the-
historians
Mark,
think that
Mark, the
certainty
actually,
claim,
that these
Mark,
things
Mark,
happen.
no,
the
Mark,
vast
the
majority
claim,
of
the
scholars think
claim
it
is
likely happened. Sure.
the claim
No,
is
that
that
is not.
okay.
That
Mark,
is- that is
Mark,
absolutely
Mark.
the
You would
case.
If
not
your
affirm
argument-
that. You would
hold on,
not
That is
affirm
absolutely
this
what is
as-
true, Mark.
You would
Mark, you
not
can deny
affirm
that all
this
you
as a
want, but that's
historian.
insanely
Okay,
It's
guys,
insanely
bad
one at a
naive.
time. One at a
Okay,
time.
can we go one at a
Show me
time?
the proof
Guys?
that there's historical consensus on this.
I could just search it up and it'll tell you it is.
Do it, please.
Okay, I'll search it up right now. It's a historical consensus that Paul met with Peter and James, and we'll say it.
That's the thing. I don't think that historical consensus really exists.
It might be
do
the
I
consensus among
believe-
biblical scholars.
No, it's the consensus
this
of
is the thing.
skeptical scholars. Obviously, Bart Ehrman and them
Even
believe this.
yeah, Bart Ehrman is a biblical skeptic scholar. It might be the consensus of biblical scholars, but if you look up the broad field of historians, like just history in general, they are not going to affirm this claim.
Yes, they are. I can
What are
search
you
it up and
talking
it'll say
about?
yes,
Okay,
they
Well,
will.
why
so-
would they? Why
no,
would they
they're not.
disagree with
And-
people who are more
All right.
acutely trained in that field? That doesn't make any sense. You're
Because
literally
it's
making
flawed
a
methodology.
you're-
Biblical
no.
scholars-
No,
Wait,
dude,
wait,
you're being
Mark,
Biblical
arrogant,
scholars
bro.
make assumptions.
Yo,
that
host, can we go one
other
at a time?
scholars don't
Yeah,
fucking
we
make.
do gotta go one at a time, but let's let Mark Allen finish what he's saying, and then we'll respond to him.
It's just
Okay.
bad methodology to get to the conclusion that Peter, James, and Paul all met together. It's bad historical.
Then,
Like-
then why do the vast majority
Wait, no,
of historians agree that
PRK.
they
Wait,
did?
hold on, wait, PRK. Let me respond.
Go for it.
Mark, yeah, I need to point out that's a severe logical fallacy, my guy. You're telling me, or you're telling PRK, hey,
What is the
you can't
logical
wait. Let me
fallacy?
let
Wait, let
me
him finish.
explain. I'm
I'll
literally
get it.
explaining. I'm explaining to you now. PRK is making an appeal to biblical scholars. And he's saying that they will all agree. They will generally agree that this event happened in history. It's a historical fact, not just something in the Bible. It's not just a myth made up by some guy. You made the counterpoint. Okay, but if you open it up and broaden it to general historians, well, you're making an appeal to not just
Which
an
is
appeal
false.
to authority. You're making an appeal to a weaker authority because you're saying let's lower the acuity of the profession or of the study of the field, going from biblical studies to quote unquote general historians.
Do you
You're
think
literally
that there's a
hold
reason
on,
for
you're
that?
literally
I
weakening
know
your
that
own
I'm doing
point.
that. I know that I'm doing that. I
Okay,
get
well
your
then you're
point.
at.
That's
You're
a
Do you
bad
want me to
point.
respond
That's
to
a
your
great.
point now? Do you want me? It is a great point on the surface. It is a very great point on the surface.
Well,
All right. Do you want me
especially
to
when you
address
just
it
said
now?
that you,
Do you want
yeah,
me
well,
to
especially when
address
you
what
just
you
said you
just said?
intentional.
Do you
Yeah,
want me
you
to
just
address
said
what
that you
you just said?
agreed, so you just gave a weak point.
So are you going to let me explain why only on the surface does that claim that you're making hold? All right. Do you want me to explain that?
How? It's the underlying flaw
Would you
in your
like to
logic.
know how? Would you
I
like to
used
know
your
how?
logic.
You're
Go
not
ahead.
using my logic. I would like to explain to you why this is not a good explanation for what a rebuttal to what I'm saying. Would you like to hear it?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm muted up.
Okay. So when I say, "Hey, Pruk," if you look at history as a field, they're not going to affirm the fact that Peter, James, and Paul met together.
That's just false.
Biblical scholars may have more of a consensus on this issue, but the problem with this is that in like history and biblical scholars, we use different criterion to establish what is true. Okay? Pruk has burdens on his side that he skates around and establishes the truth of these claims, where we would not take these methods or criterion and like another case. We'll only take the case of the criterion that these happened for the Bible. And not only that, but if we apply the same claims to like, Islam being written during the time, and we use the same line of inference, Pruk's going to reject that. But he's going to instantly say that like it's correct in his case. He specifically wants to use the criterion of embarrassment, which doesn't even exist and is a logical fallacy. We have no idea.
Can you name me like any historian that thinks that Paul, Peter, and James didn't meet up?
I mean,
What
I don't
he's
have one off
saying
the
is-
top of the head.
What he's saying
The
is,
argument
if
here-
anyone has the burden of proof, what he is saying is, if anybody has the burden of to point out that this particular thing that you are laying claim to actually has broad consensus
It
among
does.
historians of it being true, then you're the one who has to produce
Okay,
it.
well, at the
I
end
just
of the
want-
day,
I just
How
want
do
to
we establish?
okay.
How do we
Hold on,
establish
wait.
that these epistles written after
wait,
the
hold up.
fact
All right.
were
Pierre
written?
K's gonna respond. Let's let him respond.
I'm just gonna say, I just want a historian that thinks that these people existed, that think that they did not meet. I just want
And,
that.
and
Well,
I was going to say, let's
I'm
be
going to
wait,
college
Mark, hold on,
to
let's
be
be
a
fair.
historian,
Wait, Mark,
and I'm
Mark.
applying the methods of a historical analysis to this myself, and I'm saying that this just isn't how
I'll
you
search
get
it
taught
up
to
for
do
you.
history.
Mark,
Wait,
Mark,
do we have
Mark.
any?
Hold
actually, go ahead.
on. So first point, at the very least, PRK gave you a name, a source, a historian. He gave you a biblical scholar. That's at the very
Yes,
least. He
I
gave
have
you
read-
some form.
I have
Hold
read
on,
and finish. Let him finish.
hold on, Mark. Let me
Mark,
finish my
you
point.
gotta
I
let
let
him
you
finish.
go.
You gotta let him finish. Go ahead.
You're saying that he has some burden of proof, burden of evidence. Okay, tell him what it is. If you
Okay, so the burden
if
of
you
evidence
want,
here,
hold
Wait,
on.
he's
and
not
I have
finished.
been
He's
having
not finished,
this
Mark.
for a long time.
You gotta let him finish.
Okay, but I don't know either of you guys, so I don't have any context or prior
You're
knowledge or
missing-
point of
you're
reference.
missing the
So let
point.
me get my point. So then let me get my point out. I
yeah.
don't know you or PRK. Therefore, I don't have a point of reference or context. Thank you.
That's it.
So,
Okay. Go ahead. Finish
no,
your
no,
whole
no, no.
sentence.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
No, you're good. My bad.
No, well, shit, now I forgot. I didn't talk myself in a circle. Go ahead.
All right, look, the burden of proof that Pruk has is he is using the epistles to say that this meeting happened, right? We have 13 epistles, right? Some of them are disputed, some of them are fought over, and some of them are thought to be written by the same author. Pruk smuggles in the assumption that that author is Paul. So one, he has the burden of proof to establish that fact, right? That just because someone wrote 4 to 6 of these epistles, 4 to 7, right? That one, the person who wrote them is the person that's proclaimed in the books, right? Which he's never going to be able to do that, right?
I mean,
Two.
well, it depends.
Wait, let it
These
finish.
were written.
Well, let's go one at a time.
These
But I don't want him to shotgun points.
Wait, hold on,
Let's
take
just
notes.
take one point at a
I'm
time.
giving 3 points.
You got to take notes, and then like
Yeah, but we
he's
got.
finished.
I'm not able to take notes right
3
now. And
points.
if he goes on too
Look,
long, let's just go 1 point at a time.
One, we have to establish that the author was the author. Two, these books were written decades after the facts of the events they portray. And three, he's using a historical method to validate these called the criterion of embarrassment, right? And he's going to say that, and it doesn't hold. That's a logical fallacy. That's a methodology that we would not use in any other form of history for any other topic. We would never say that George Washington most likely did something because he was embarrassed by admitting that he did it.
Okay, let me respond to those 3 points really quick. Okay, let's walk through each one. So first point is, you said that
There's
he's using
letters of Paul. We have historical.
I just searched it out.
So hold on, PRK.
Okay, 1 point.
So if you're gonna make it that broad or that ambiguous, I'm just gonna say that I can defer or refer to the church, the magisterium of the church, the institution that's been around for 2,000 years that preserved and maintained these scriptures and has purported the authorship of Paul, of the named author of the book. Therefore, unless you have any better evidence that the church is untrustworthy, I'm just going to appeal to the church for right now. For the sake of brevity,
doing textual analysis on the Bible, we have parts that we know were added later and books that were written by people are in canon that we know.
Yeah. So we're gonna.
book.
That's the second point. You said that it was written decades after. Okay.
No.
If it was written,
there are books in the Bible admitted as canon that we know that the author of those books are not who they are attributed now. That's historical fact.
That wasn't your second point, but we can.
No, that's my point to what you just said.
But
you're saying that
again,
church
you
tradition
made
is
3
good.
points. You made 3 points at a time, and now I'm trying to
And you
address
wanted
the 3
to
separate
address
points,
point
and now
one.
you're trying to single one out. Let me address the 3 points, and then you can start singling them out. I tried to get you to go one by one.
Yeah, that's true. Fair play.
I'm just saying, you asked to go by them one
fair?
by one. You addressed the first one, so I was addressing
Exactly, and
criticism.
I'm trying to get into the second one. I asked you what the second one was.
The second one that I brought up is that these books were written decades after the fact that they.
Like I said, so they were. You're saying that they were written decades after the events. That even if they were written decades after the events, that's still within the lifetime of the people that witnessed the events. That still was reliable eyewitness testimony, especially if
That
you
is
have
not
more than one.
eyewitness testimony.
Let me finish. Especially if you have more than one witness that you're one and more witness that you're writing down, and if you're saying that, wait 1 second. If you're saying that, I'm not making the claim that every book of the Bible is an eyewitness testament. I'm saying that the Gospels, however, in particular, are eyewitness testimonies, and then there are other parts. We have to clarify just really quickly. The Bible is not some sort of monologue or some singular book. It is literally 60 or up to 70 to 80 something books, all compiled into one library. So
just one quick sentence on this point you've been making, and really hammered home. I got it right. If you tell me something that you witnessed and I write it down 10 years from now, is that eyewitness testimony?
Yes.
That we have access to?
Yes, because we still interview war veterans. No. Wait. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a follow-up question, because you just asked a question. Let me ask a question. Do you consider World War I and II veterans interviews as eyewitness testimonies or no?
Definitionally, those are eyewitness testimonies.
Okay,
right?
then. So then your point is moot.
Yeah. No, it's not fucking moot.
No, Slick.
What
are
you talking about? It's not slick. It's not slick. If I have a video of someone talking to me that fought in World War I, right? That is eyewitness testimony. I'm getting it directly from the eyewitness who witnessed it.
What is a transcript?
Okay, so hold on. Wait. Hear this out.
How do you know that they got transcripts?
So like,
no, I'm just pointing out the flaw in logic.
Stop.
Go ahead.
So the issue, I think the issue here, right, is that you have people who witnessed something associated with Jesus, and then 10 years later they write it down, basically.
No, not them. Not them.
Oh, someone
Not
else?
them. Someone else writes it down.
Okay, then that's not eyewitness testimony. Yeah, that's not.
No. Okay. So let me ask you a question. If a reporter or a journalist asks somebody a question in an interview and then writes down and reports their answer, is that eyewitness testimony? Yes or no?
No.
That would be
Second
That's
hand.
that would
not
be a
eyewitness.
report.
No,
But
no.
you don't
That's
get
not-
it. There's a
that's
reason
not
why,
a-
like,
let-
article.
Okay. Good.
I think he's
There's a
going to search
reason-
it up. But okay, so the way that I support the idea that it's the consensus is I just searched up, find me all the scholars who think that this meeting didn't happen, and Richard Carrier was one of them, and there's a few Dutch radicals that are questioning it, but you won't be able to find more than, let's just
Yeah,
say, 5 to be generous.
and biblical
To be generous.
scholarships. Either way, I'm not appealing to authority here. I'm saying that the way that you're establishing, and they are establishing, that this happened is flawed methodology. And we can talk about your methodology if you want, but if you
Yeah, we
just
can
want to
talk
appeal
about
to
it.
authority,
That's completely fine, absolutely. But I'm just saying, when you said it's not the consensus, right, you would be wrong because you can't even
I
name more than.
didn't. I'm just saying
literally
that,
said that,
I
Mark.
don't think
You
the
literally said that.
entire field of history is going to affirm this, and all you're still
Nearly-
sampling
virtually all of
from
them
is
do.
samples of biblical scholars.
Okay, so there's not more than 5 scholars that you can name, and that's being generous, Mark.
I just put
That
the
say that this
definition
meeting-
of eyewitness
I
testimony
can't name
in the
5
chat.
scholars.
No, 5 scholars that would affirm that Peter, Paul, and James existed think that the meeting didn't happen. You're
Hey,
not
hey
gonna
guys,
find that.
Well,
guys,
if they
wait,
think
hold on.
that,
PRK,
see, there's an
PRK, and
assumption
Mark.
there too that
Wait,
they
guys,
existed.
guys, really quickly. Do you guys notice the
Virtually
the
all
quote
scholars
that I
agree
put in
that
the
they
chat?
existed.
Yeah, okay.
PRK,
okay.
do you-
Yeah, hold on. So
That's the definition of eyewitness.
Okay, yeah, but
Okay.
So
Now,
here's the
now,
issue,
hold
here's the
on.
issue.
Now, hold on one second.
Here's the
One
issue.
second. 1 second. Let me just say something. I'm going to now go and grab the first a quote from the first verse of one of the gospels and put it in chat, and we're going to compare them. Okay, just y'all can continue. I just want to make this preface so that we don't get distracted.
Yeah, so like I was saying, it is very much the consensus. Everything that we can utilize to figure out what the consensus could be says that it's the consensus.
I don't care
that
about the
people-
consensus. I want to talk
Okay.
about the methodology.
Okay, so you
Let's talk
agree
about
that it
the
is the
methodology.
consensus. Okay, but before we do,
I don't agree. It might be the consensus in biblical scholarship, but I'm not willing to concede.
yeah, the
that
people who
every
would actually
historian
study
has
the
brought-
Bible, the
that-
people who
the-
actually study the
The
Bible.
people who use specific methodology and take assumptions. That's why I want to talk about methodology, Rod. There are assumptions in the field of biblical scholarship that broadly historians will not take, like the criterion of embarrassment, right? How do we know that these letters were written by who the letters themselves claim to have written them, for one? How do you bridge that gap?
Well, I just think that if you are, I'm not calling you not smart, right? I'm just saying if you are a sharp person and you're looking at these letters, I think obviously the best conclusion is that these people were real and they met, right? And that's going to be based on the fact
I think that is
that there's
likely.
no reason at all for an author to invent, like, for example, Jesus being crucified, right? There's no reason for someone to
Yes,
invent
there
the Messiah.
is.
No, there's not. What's a good
Yes,
reason?
there is.
What's
There's
a good reason
political
that
reasons.
what-
There's
what's a good
human
reason?
reasons. There's ongoing
This is too vague.
tribulation.
Okay, it's giving me the character limit. It's not letting me copy paste.
Like,
it for some
can
reason
you
from
can
the
you give me a
Bible, but
succinct
if you
reason?
if you read Luke 1:1, he
Yeah, I
literally
know.
says that he's given and he's literally
He's giving an eyewitness account.
Exactly.
Yes,
so
we've all
he,
read
he
the Bible
literally
here.
says it in the
Yes.
opening. So
Yes.
so how
Why
are you
should I
saying that this
believe
is
that?
not an eyewitness
Why should I
testimony?
believe that for one?
Okay,
Why
okay.
should I believe that?
Yes.
And
Let's list
and
let's
two,
wait. No.
and two,
Mark, list these
and
out in the
two,
chat too.
Why just what Luke 1:1? Why not finish the verse?
No,
Finish
that was
the
just
verse.
one. I just gave you one example.
Yeah, but why shorten it? Why not read like the whole first?
Because I was
paragraph of
making a
one?
point.
Because what does
I don't
what does he say
because I
there?
was making a
What
point.
does he say there immediately?
Read it
after
out. I'm
that?
not embarrassed. Read it out. I don't have it in front of me.
I
It's on
don't
another
have it in
tab.
front of me, but it says that he himself is not an eyewitness. He's just relaying the eyewitness testimony that he got.
Exactly. He says it for.
That's
He's relaying
not
the eyewitness. The eyewitness
testimony.
is. It,
And
he
That's
says
not
eyewitness.
eyewitness testimony.
That
That
is
is
literally
definitionally second-hand testimony.
Yeah.
It's hearsay. It would not be.
Yeah. So really quick. So this was the point I was trying to make earlier. If somebody experiences something and that person that experienced it writes it down, that's eyewitness testimony. The second that somebody else is writing down what they're hearing from somebody else, that's not eyewitness testimony. That's second-hand testimonies now. Eyewitness testimonies are first person, not second person.
Okay, so are you saying that the thing that disqualifies some of the gospels is that some of them are not first
I'm not saying
person
it
eyewitness accounts?
Yes, that's
It-
what they're saying. Yeah.
That does
I do not think
that's
any of the
yeah, okay, that's
Gospels
interesting.
or the Epistles were eyewitness accounts. No, I think they were. I don't think that the people that actually followed Jesus, who would have been poor people, right? That like you're talking about a society where 1%
I mean, they would have been
of
like
people- You're talking about
they
a
would have been
society.
teenage
You're
boys to
talking
young
about
men.
a society.
They would have been teenage
you're
boys to young
talking-
men at the time.
You're talking about a society that had about a 1% literacy rate, and that's like functional literacy.
Yeah,
right?
okay, but people like Luke
I'm
were
not
physicians.
done yet.
What,
I'm
what are
not
you?
done yet. I'm not done yet. Right?
But you're
Okay.
making a lot of points. I'm not
I'm
going to
not-
remember all
I'm
of these at once.
Then
To respond.
fucking have sometimes you have to be able to comprehend more than one or two sentences at a time.
Bro, you're
Like,
not even going to be able to remember what you said 5 minutes ago. What are you talking
I
about?
can literally tell you what I've been saying.
Okay, what
the
did you start
entire
off with?
case. I started off with critiquing Pruck's bad methodology and saying that
No,
like,
that's not,
the
that's not what I
methods
was
that were-
referring to.
I think
the
that's
Not what I was
methods that were-
referring to.
the-
It's not what I was exactly my point. My point
you
exactly.
said 5 minutes ago.
I said, what did you start off with? This your sentence,
What do you
this
mean?
point
That is
that you're
the
responding
biggest thing in
to.
the world. Do you think that there's more than one way that
Can
I
I
could,
can I
like,
jump in real quick and just say
interpret
what?
this?
Can I jump in real quick and just say one thing?
Go for it.
Because so Mark has been making claims such as the literacy rate was 1% when it's widely agreed in Rome in the first century literacy was around 15 to 20%. We're
That's
not
not
talking
true.
about an uneducated society in first century Rome.
If
Yeah.
we're
At
talking
all.
about Jewish people in the first
Yeah,
century,
We're talking about
it's gotta be-
people-
in first century Judea, not
Also,
fucking
first
Romans.
century Judea, people were reading and writing the the Tanakh. People were familiar with these writings. The people in the Gospels refer to these writings all across the Gospels. And also, I just
Not
want to
only
also,
that, they-
to your point,
they
Well, that's
also-
survivorship bias 101. Yes, the people who were reading and writing were reading and writing.
of course,
about the
but you
stuff
so
that
you
they read
can't
and
make
write
the
about.
claim
So
that
that's
it's
fucking
1%.
survivorship bias.
Again,
bias
Mark,
right there.
Mark, will you concede
but
that
for
you were
two,
wrong?
like,
But Mark, will
do
you concede
think,
that you're wrong?
Do you think? Hang on. I just want to
Can you
ask you
just
a
wait,
hypothetical here.
before
Hang
you
on.
move
I
on,
just want,
Mark,
I
before
want
you
to
move on,
address.
Mark,
No, I'm not
before
going to
you
say
move
that I'm
on,
wrong. That's why I'm
Mark,
trying to
you
say
keep
a
talking
sentence.
over
I'm not
everybody.
going to address.
Mark,
I'm not
you
going
keep-
to say that I'm wrong.
Of course
and
you're
move
not,
on. I
dude.
want to address
Because
what
you're
you
not
just
having an
said
honest debate.
about
That's
the
the
literacy
problem.
rates. I
Dude.
literally want to address the claim you just made about the 15% literacy rate.
Okay,
I want to
address it
discuss
because you
that.
said it's 1%. Are you wrong?
So when you look at a picture of Rome in the first century, right?
Uh-huh.
What are you referring to as Rome specifically? Are you
The
talking
entire
about the whole,
population
the
of
whole
Rome.
empire wide?
Yes.
All right. Do you think that there's going to be like statistical variance between like the people that could like read and write in like first century Judea versus like someone living in Rome at the time that you're talking about? Do you
When
think
we're
that this
talking
could,
about
like,
the entire
do you think
empire
that
of
this
Rome.
could like if we're talking about the entire empire, right? And we account for all these big cities, right? And all this other stuff that's going on in the empire outside of Judea, right? Do you think that like there could be some provinces above or below the statistical average? Do you think that like statistical variance exists?
Of course, but you're talking about a
Of
statistical
course,
variance.
okay.
Bro,
You're talking about
okay,
a statistical variance
Mark,
of 15%.
but Mark,
So when I
Mark,
say
you're
the
acting
literacy
no,
rate lower
Mark,
is
you're
in
acting as though
Judea,
these people are
and you
just
say it's higher in
baboons walking
Rome.
around.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
Mark,
couldn't
you're
read or
acting.
write.
Wait,
They couldn't read or write. Like there was a lot of
Says who?
illiteracy. Wait,
Yeah,
no,
well,
wait, hold on.
yes, there
Wait,
was a lot
hold
of
on.
people. Yes, there
Hey,
was a
yo,
lot of
does
people,
Skelly
but
have
who says?
Dictionary for a second?
Wait, hold on,
What
hold on.
scholarship are you pointing to that says 1%?
Wait, hold on. Okay, so like I'm actually willing to grant 15%, but also like when you ask says who, that's the whole problem with that I have with the resurrection. Not a lot of people are writing stuff down, right? Paul is literally writing for like Peter, a bunch of these apostles, writing for the church, making a bunch of letters out. Like a lot of people were illiterate, couldn't read or couldn't write. That's like a fact. Like a majority
Yeah,
of
but
people.
you're
Okay, but it's
generally
well
saying a
known.
lot.
But no.
I'm saying
It's
that
well known
one
that things in
fifth
the
of the
old days
population
were
could.
when, especially things with letters, they were read aloud. That's why the
I'm
Catholic
not
Mass
disagreeing
and the
with
liturgy. Hold on, Mark. I'm responding to the host. That's
Computer.
why the Catholic Mass
Stop.
and the liturgy and that's why the Bible is read in a liturgical cycle, and
I
it's
agree.
not simply like in the Protestant church where you just kind of going off of vast or any random chapter and verses you kind of draw up in your mind and you give a speech about it. That's it's very well known that in those ancient days that these especially these important documents would be read to audiences, so they didn't have to be able to read and write in order to get these messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have
So-
language.
Yeah,
which
so,
is
so
like,
basically, like,
Now, yes,
You're
and if
acting
we're
like
talking
So-
about
so
language,
therefore it's
if we're
not
talking about
eyewitness
language, Mark,
testimony.
hold on. If we're talking about language, then we can literally ascertain from the text itself that these had to at least been multilingual individuals because they converse with each other and their kinsfolk. That
That's
being
survivorship
no,
bias.
wait,
The
one
whole-
second, one
Mark,
second.
let
Let me
someone
finish my
finish,
point,
dude.
Mark. God dang. They
It's
converse
so
with their
bad.
hold on. They converse with their kinfolk. They were obviously they were obviously conversable with the people around them. Two, they conversed with the Romans centurions that came to collect Jesus. They were able to understand each other. Therefore, they must have been able to speak some Greek in order to be intelligible to by the Roman guards. Therefore, these men had to at least been what's it called, multilingual, and that we can ascertain from the text.
yeah.
So what are you talking about?
That's
That these
not
people
how
are
Roman
just
military worked.
so.
You
These people
guys-
are just so constricted.
Well, hold on. So like the thing is like, yeah, like I agree with you. A major part is things were being spread around orally. Like oral tradition was like a major thing. But again, like people weren't reading or writing stuff down. So like your earliest gospels.
They were though.
But
Wait,
they were.
they
You can't
weren't.
say people weren't doing that.
Well, hold on.
We
on.
have the
Wait, hold on,
documents,
hold on.
though.
For the record, your earliest gospel is going to be Mark, and that wasn't written until like 30 years after. Like literally,
Okay,
that's
but-
what historians dated. So
That's-
nobody wrote
that's
anything
still within
down.
the lifetime of
Paul's epistles are written
eyewitnesses.
before that.
Oh, so what?
Paul's epistles are written
Allegedly.
before that.
Allegedly.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, but that's it. You say allegedly, but you don't point to any scholarship that really differs when the majority of
and
scholarship
do you
affirms
guys notice
that.
what you do every single time? Every single time that
Look at
I
the
know
big
that I
screen,
was
bro.
right.
Look-
I
We
know
appeal
that
to
I was
scholarship?
right.
You
I
are
know
cre-
that I
you
was
are
right the
doing-
whole time.
That's a fallacy, Coco.
what?
You're trying to
What's the
apply
fallacy?
aggregate data onto a subject. You can't apply aggregate data onto a one individual subject. That's a statistical fallacy.
Wait, what do you mean? Like,
Bro.
like
You can't apply aggregate data or data for an entire group onto an individual person or situation. That's a statistical fallacy.
when was I doing that?
What he's doing right now when he's saying 1 to 3% of individuals, the literacy rate.
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is that a majority of the community back then couldn't read or write, right? So you notice that like
we're saying they didn't need to.
well, hold on.
What I'm saying is even-
hold on. So like a majority of people during that time period couldn't read or write. So what you often would see is that they're passing around messages via oral tradition. People are just telling people what happened. But then later on, right, people then start to like write stuff down. Maybe also because like people were poor and they couldn't really have access to like writing stuff
Well,
down.
that's the thing.
Okay,
That's the thing that
okay.
I'm saying.
Wait,
Hold
host,
on, let me
host,
speak.
host.
That's the problem with what you're saying. We're looking at the picture you have or Black Stallion has up. That is, you're trying to create a statistical fallacy, which is applying aggregate data or data for an entire group onto an individual situation. You can't do that. That is a statistic rule against like That's a statistical fallacy. You can't do that.
No, wait, but I mean, like,
So-
that would be.
So-
Wait, hold on. Wait, that would apply to, like, what we're talking about, right? The reason
But that is a fallacy. You can't apply.
No, it's
like,
not. So it's like you have individuals who didn't
Okay.
write stuff down. Why do you think they didn't write stuff down? Because
Okay,
the
okay,
majority
whoa,
of people
know
couldn't
what
read
I'm-
and
whoa,
write.
wait,
no, what I'm
Mackenzie,
saying is
wait,
your
or
thing-
Marky,
you-
wait, no, let's Marky Mars, let's give them the point. Let's even see the point. Let's just see the point. That people weren't writing it down.
Yeah.
Let's say that because we know that the documents themselves were rare. Now,
Oh yeah, like paper was
that
rare.
does
and
not
people were illiterate.
no. Hold on, let me finish the point. People weren't wide scale circulating these documents. However, the people who needed to be able to read and write were able to read and write, and therefore, since we have physical documents from the first century, we have like things like P50. Is it P62? I think a piece of
P50.
John.
It's not from the first century.
I think the earliest thing I'll grant you
Are
is
you
like the
insane?
Corinthians Creed.
Not insane. There is no.
The
single
earliest is the
fragment
Corinthians. The Apostles' Creed is dated to within the first decade.
dated
The-
to. We do not have any existing manuscripts.
The Creed is dated
from
within
the first
months.
century.
Okay, yeah, but it was written on parchment. Do you really
Stuff
expect
like
parchment to last 2,000 years?
Yes, I
it's
do.
still amazing
I
that we
do,
have
because we
codex
have-
that
Because
last
Because you
Why
have
is that?
God on
200
your
years.
side.
do we have-
Because God.
Why do we have? Yeah, one God.
Yes, but
is
he
on your
maintained
side,
it in the
and then-
church. You're talking.
Hey,
Okay, hold
no,
on 1 second.
no,
wait, Mark.
listen,
Mark.
listen,
Let
no,
me
I'm
respond
not
to the
waiting.
host.
I want to get my
I'm
point
responding
out.
to
I want
the
get my
host.
point
Wait,
out.
wait,
I'm
wait.
Me and
no,
host
I'm
are
responding
making
to
the
the
same
host.
point.
Let Mark
Me
do it,
and
let
host
Mark
are
do it.
making
Go
the
ahead,
same
Mark.
point.
You gotta go ahead, Mark.
Okay. God damn, right? We do not have anything written down at all until like 125 AD. Why would there be things?
Give me
not
a
in-
source.
You're telling the fragment you just pulled up.
Give me a
that
source.
You mentioned is in Ryland's. It's
No,
Ryland's
no.
P52.
Give me a source. Give me a source.
Wait, what is it? Ryland's
Ryland's
For your claim.
P52 fact.
Give me a
the
source for your claim.
The source is Ryland's P52 fragment.
No, that's not your claim. You said the first document
That
we have
is-
written down is from 152 AD. So
No.
give me the source for your claim.
The first New Testament shred of manuscript evidence that we
Yep.
have from the New Testament
Yep.
is from the 2nd century. We do not have
Give me your
anything
source.
survive-
Give me your source.
It's the consensus of biblical
Give me your source. Give me
scholarship.
one source. Give me one source.
Do you have an
The
article?
source is the Ryland's P52 P52 fragment is the earliest not known fragment of the New Testament, and it's dated to 125 AD. That is the source. That's the earliest fragment you can find. That's
Well,
it.
But also, like
125 AD. So my point is,
Right.
here, we have things that exist from 125 AD. What's the big magical gap in like 30 years here that we're talking? Like you only got to clear 30 years to get to the 1st century to make your argument, but you can't do it.
So. First of all, that 125 is, first of all, you're making it on the high end. I'm looking
No, I'm
at
not.
the Google search right now saying 100 to 125. You're being
That's
as
not the first
disingenuous.
century.
You're
That's not the
being
first
as
century.
disingenuous as you
That's
possibly
not
can
the first
be.
century.
I'm not saying that it is.
What are the
I'm not
dates
saying.
right?
I'm
You
not
were
saying that it is.
You were
No,
saying that
no,
it
I'm
is,
not.
though.
I'm saying that listen to my claim. Then you'll actually understand. You'll track what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if we have physical documents that lasted from the 2nd century, these things were being clearly in circulation in some form or fashion physically. That means that it did not just pop into existence when the first manuscript popped into existence. That means it had to already have been in circulation.
Do you know what
if you
happened?
let me finish. If you let me expound upon that, the reason that we can be assured that that the script was maintained is because of
You can't be assured of
the institution of the church. The institution of the church has maintained it for the last 2,000
We
years.
investigated ourselves and found ourselves to be not guilty, is your argument. You realize that, right?
You're making a jump. Go ahead, host.
all I was gonna say is
well,
like, oh, go ahead.
can I just say one more thing,
Go for
right?
it.
So what happened was Jesus gets executed and his followers carry on his message. It's spread mostly orally first, all right? And then, like, just how your grandma does, you know, she's got her favorite Bible verse
Give me your
hanging up in the
source.
kitchen.
Give me one source. Give me one name.
Bart Ehrman.
That's not what Bart Ehrman. You're not giving Bart Ehrman. So go ahead.
Yeah,
I want you to
I am.
embarrass yourself.
Name
Finish
one
your
book
point.
by Bart Ehrman.
Finish
that
your
you've
point.
read.
No, finish your point.
No. Name one book that.
I'm not giving you a
by
way
Bart
out.
Ehrman.
Finish your point.
No, give me one book by Bart Ehrman.
I'm not letting you give a way out. Finish your
so
point.
you've never read Bart Ehrman, so you don't
Go
know
ahead
what
and
he
finish
said
your
or didn't
point.
say to say
Go
that
ahead and
I
finish your
don't
point.
know.
Finish your
My
point.
point is that, like, what the history shows is that, you know, this dude got executed.
No, give me Bart Ehrman's view. Seeing it, because I want your source. Don't
Okay,
tell me
this is
what
Bart
quote unquote
Ehrman's
history
view.
says.
This is Bart Ehrman's view. This is called the minimal facts hypothesis, right?
There we go.
There was a guy named Jesus, right? And he got executed, and some of his followers, specifically Peter and James, carried on his message, and then Paul picked it up later, and then people spread this tradition orally at first, and then naturally, like, you would find like smaller stories, and they eventually get compiled over time, and then eventually you get a Bible, i.e., nothing in the Bible is eyewitness testimony. You're still not getting any closer to
So if we prove through just pure logical deduction that does not work, will you see that you are incorrect and will you become Christian? Or do you have another
need
thing that we can go
empirical
with?
evidence. You are making a truth claim
Like
for
what?
correspondence to reality.
Empirical
So
evidence such as what?
To prove to 100%,
Empirical evidence such as what?
I'm trying to answer. A first century
I need it to be
document,
succinct.
a first century document written and signed by someone to say that this is
Written
is
and
what the
signed.
case has. This is the case that would happen.
Crazy
Would
things.
most likely raise the probability of me believing it. But you don't.
Okay,
have
can
that.
you? Okay, sure. I'll raise a challenge then. Can you show me one signed original document by any first century author or second century author?
Julius Caesar's Time and Goal is an autobiography.
Oh, that's you have the original manuscript signed by Julius Caesar. Show it to me.
You don't have the original manuscripts of the Bible.
True.
Oh, so it's
no, but what?
True.
wait, so it's
True.
okay. So it's cool for
Come
you,
on,
but it's not
dude.
okay for me.
True.
So it's okay for Caesar, but it's not okay for
hang
Jesus.
on. It is okay for Caesar because do you know what we have for Caesar? We have coins minted in his image. We can go
Okay,
to the
do you know what we have for
Okay, we have the
Jesus?
Pilate stone.
We can go to the battlefield.
And we have the Pilate stone.
that he
So what are you talking about?
The Pilate stone. So the Pilate argument is like really bad for you guys.
Oh
Realize
my
that,
God.
right?
Okay,
Just
why is the
because
Pilate
Pontius
argument bad?
Pilate or King Herod, do you think that just because like
Why is the Pilate? No. Why is the Pilate argument bad?
the Pilate argument is bad because like the account or the notion of like the historical Jesus getting granted an audience by the prefect of Rome and Judea is like absolutely absurd under like Roman symbology if you actually like study power structures in Rome. And like they like granting Jesus an audience with Pilate would grant him an authority. So like we know that was literary. And two,
How do we know
like,
that?
I can support.
How do we
this
know
by the
that?
fact- I can support
How
this
do we
by
know
the fact.
that?
I can support this by the fact because Pontius Pilate didn't even live in fucking Jerusalem.
Are you good? Oh,
What are
you're-
you talking about?
Yeah, you're a full-on headcanon gold tier.
No, I'm not. What?
Subscription.
Google it.
member.
Then what?
I
Then what
know
does
the
the
name
Pilate
is-
stone call him? The governor of Jerusalem.
Judea. Because Jerusalem is in Judea.
And what's the claim of the Bible?
Oh my god.
The claim of the Bible is that Jesus was granted an audience with Pontius Pilate
Where?
and had a debate
Where?
with the governor.
Where?
John.
No. Where geographically?
Geographically, where?
Geographically, the claim is that it was in fucking Jerusalem. But
Okay.
And we
My
have
ma-
archaeological
my- that's my
evidence that
thing.
says that he was the governor of where during what time?
Judea.
And
where
when was
he
it-
stationed at? I'm saying.
And when was that discovered?
I'm saying. That
When was that
this-
discovered, Mark?
it
When was the Pilate
discovered
stone
in, like,
discovered?
The 90s.
Okay, and so how
What's your
did we have
point?
any evidence of him being there during the time of
Yes.
Jesus' crucifixion, as the Bible has written before then?
Yes.
Okay, and it corroborated it?
The evidence before the Pilate stone was found, yes, corroborates the existence of Pilate. Yes.
Yes, and first...
There was no
and-
evidence of Pilate.
Yes,
yeah,
there was.
What? Okay, what's the other evidence?
That there were other people
Where did
writing
we
about
find that
Pilate
evidence?
in Pilate's time.
Where did we find that evidence?
And textual, like,
Which ones,
documents
dude?
from the time.
Which ones, Mark?
Like, I'm sorry that I can't reference.
Oh, so you're just talking out your butt.
Off the top of
You're
my head.
just talking
literally
out your
just
butt.
yapping. You're literally just yapping.
Understand. You have
He's
no
talked
evidence
about-
for it.
He's
You're
talked
just making
about
claims.
Josephus, I'm pretty sure. He's talked about by
Oh, and
other
what is Josephus
Roman
saying?
historians.
So now
But you
you're
take
appealing to
Josephus.
Josephus.
Yeah, I'll take.
Okay, so what did
Josephus.
Josephus
What's-
say about Jesus?
They're where? He's
In
made
his
mention of
writings,
Jesus
dude.
multiple
Wait,
times. Are you
wait.
talking?
Wait,
But
Josephus.
anyways, we're getting so off the
Wait,
topic.
hold on,
I
hold on,
don't
hold
even
on,
No,
know
hold
if I
on,
this
wanna
is the
get into here.
topic. What are you
This
talking
is the
wanna talk-
topic.
Wait, hold
I
on,
wanna
Josephus.
talk-
No, go ahead,
Hang on.
host. Go ahead, host. Go ahead,
Where's
host.
Harry?
Hang on. As far as like Pilate
Go,
goes,
go ahead,
right?
Actually,
host. I want to hear the question
Pilate-
from the host, though.
Pilate
You guys
about
base-
Josephus.
You guys can have it.
Pil-
I have to ask.
Pilate's
you, okay?
base was
Mark, stop yapping, dude. You already just got
Caesarea
proven.
Maritima.
Mark, stop yapping, dude.
I
because
didn't
you
get
just proved that you're
There's
yapping.
no reason to
I was gonna
accept
say,
that the
host. Can
Bible
you,
account
host? Can you
of-
actually
Let Coco
play
Mark,
mediator
stop
a little bit
waffling.
more? Just because we feel like he's being a little bit dishonest.
Yeah, he's just being totally disingenuous.
not even listening to the point that I said. You're saying that the accounts of the Bible. When I literally said I don't think that the story of Jesus meeting Pilate.
That's great. You're
in
not
Bible
the
is
scholar,
true.
dude. No one
And
cares
you're
what you
saying the
think.
truth.
I don't care what you're. What
Are you a
what
scholar?
Mark? No, I'm not pointing to my
Okay,
own
so no one
scholarship.
cares what you think either.
I'm not. I'm not. But you're
Why do you
pointing
not
to
care
your
what
own
other people
opinion.
think on a debate channel?
You're pointing to your own opinion. We're pointing to
I'm not
evidence.
pointing to.
And then
you're
you
not
said,
pointing to evidence
hold on, Mark.
when you say
Mark,
that this
no,
meeting
dude,
happened
stop,
because it
stop,
was written in
stop.
the Bible.
You just said we had evidence of Pilate being there. Okay, what other evidence? Oh, Josephus. Well, Josephus also affirms Jesus. Oh, but you don't like that part, and now you're waffling.
I don't not like that Josephus. You're inferring things that aren't there. I take most of what Josephus says about Jesus.
Oh, you only take most of it? Did you know that there was actually a recent textual analysis done by, I think it was either a Yale or a Harvard scholar over the Josephus text, and he actually says that the part where he says that the people of the time said that he was the Messiah because he rose from the dead and did miracles was actually original and not a later addition. Did you know that? Because I would love to source it to you. I'd love to send it to you. Please say that it's fake. Because you're gonna either have to drop all of Josephus or stay consistent and keep all of Josephus.
Yeah, you start sounding like a Muslim. Oh, well, whatever parts I disagree with, that's corrupted.
That's exactly what he sounds like. I'm waiting for him to give me an answer, Mark. Why are you still muted? You finally are
Be right back.
okay.
He has to go to AI and search I'mRight.com and then find one like
All right, guys,
dude who's like a scholar who's like in the
Some
fringes.
fringe, I was
Yeah.
gonna say some fringe headcanon conspiracy theorist.
Where actually the Anunnaki is.
And the golden tablets.
It's insane.
But anyway.
And also,
No,
I just
but
also
host,
wanted to.
host, did you have a question while he's doing whatever he's doing?
Oh no, it's okay. I'd have to ask somebody, but I'm pretty
And
sure.
Coco,
When it comes to Josephus, I'm not even sure. I don't remember what he talks about, but doesn't he just talk about Christians? He doesn't talk about Jesus specifically.
You know, he
No,
talks
he
about Jesus
talks about
specifically.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, it's probably someone else I'm thinking of.
Well, it's
And-
Tacitus who also references the execution.
And also, I just wanted to add that there's a man named Simon Greenleaf who was the guy who founded pretty much eyewitness evidentiary bars that we use in court. He was the guy who pretty much founded the school of what is the bar for us to include things as eyewitness testimony. He was a Harvard professor in like the 1800s, and he did a analysis on the Gospels and whether or not they would be able to be admitted into the court of evidence as eyewitness testimony and as an atheist. and he found that the level of historical evidence that we have would meet the bar of eyewitness testimonies.
Oh, wait.
And that's the guy who
wait,
found
Wait, what would meet the bar for eyewitness testimonies?
the gospel.
The gospel
Oh,
testimonies.
hell no. I will never grant that.
He's a professor
Well,
at Harvard. He founded. He's like what we use for evidentiary standards today.
No, first off, like when it
Jesus.
comes to
No,
wait,
that's not true.
when it comes to the Gospels, the earliest one you're gonna get is Mark. That's written like 30 years after, and I'm pretty sure in Luke he literally was saying like everything I'm saying I just heard it from somebody else. There is no way I'm willing to grant that the Gospels are gonna be eyewitness first-hand accounts. Like no way.
No, what the thing is that they meet the standard of bar of eyewitness testimony that would be admissible in court. His argument that he's making, and he wrote a book that is accepted by legal scholars.
I'd have to check that out.
Of course. I'm not telling you to don't accept it because I say it.
Yeah, either Luke or Matthew, but I'm pretty sure one of those says that like they're just hearing their information from like other people, and so they were like just telling.
Yeah, we're not saying that every gospel is a first-hand.
Yeah, well, he
account,
said the gospel.
We are saying that. Yes, but what we're saying is the testimonies given, the accounts given and documented would be admissible in court as evidence for a case.
Wait, I'm not even. Wait,
saying?
to be honest,
Because
I'm not
of
even sure.
internal
Wait,
consistencies.
actually, hold on. I'm not even sure they'd be admissible in court. They're dated as fuck. They're like 10
That's what
decades out.
that's what we're saying. A
That's what the
Harvard
claim
lawyer is
is.
saying.
Oh, no, this guy's on crack. Like, there's no way.
Well, look into it, Coco. Don't
No,
you dismiss it before
absolutely
you
wrong.
look into
You
it.
can't
Absolutely
hand
wrong.
wave. You
It's
can't
hearsay.
hand wave. You can't.
You
hand
can.
wave an
It's
expert.
hearsay evidence. That is bullshit.
No, it has
completely.
to-
Oh, wait, but
It's
actually,
double
wait,
hearsay.
hold on.
You're saying
I'll look
it's
into it.
hearsay.
I will look into it. But
Yeah,
like,
it's interesting.
Definitely,
It's double
definitely
hearsay.
Additionally, fucking hearsay.
Double hearsay. You can't. You
Okay,
you
but-
have to
and
be
how
able to
is that?
cross-examine. If you have a person in court, you have to be able to cross-examine them. You cannot take testimony that's just hundreds of years old written down. That's not admissible in court
Okay,
whatsoever.
but what if you had multiple
It
different?
has to be authenticated.
Listen,
Go ahead.
listen. Hold on. What if you had multiple different people have written testimonies that the internal consistency of them and the cross reference is so consistent that you would have to come to the conclusion that independent minds couldn't write the same stories, right? They're going to have different details. There's going to be detailed variations because people witness
All right,
things.
can I answer?
finish
I mean, we
speaking?
get your point.
Can I
Okay.
finish
wait, let him
speaking?
finish. Let him finish.
Okay, I'll let him
Finish
finish.
speaking.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So if you have all these different documents that are to be agreed by scholars, these are sourced from different authors, and the testimonies written therein are cross-consistent, but with enough variation to say, okay, well, obviously these are different points of view of the same events, right? They can meet the bar for being eyewitness testimony because they're independently verifying the same facts and details from different sources.
Absolutely
It
fucking
can
not.
never
Can I answer the
eyewitness
question?
Testimony if it doesn't come from an eyewitness. To be an eyewitness, it has to be an eyewitness.
There's something too.
Yeah, it's absolutely not admissible. You cannot say, you have to admit each piece of evidence on its own merit one at a time. You can't go to a judge and say, see all these inadmissible pieces of evidence? Let's pretend they all match. You know, you can't make a case like that.
That's not what we're saying.
Nobody's saying that. No
you
one
are
is saying
saying-
that.
No one's saying that. You're straw manning what we're saying.
You said in a court of law. You said in a court of law.
Yes,
You're
I am
lying.
saying in a court
You
of
are
law.
lying, and
Dream
you're
of
full
Dawn,
of
I really
shit.
wanted
And
to talk to
who
you.
is this
Oh
guy?
my god! Why are you attacking me, dude? I'm not making
Because
an
you're
argument
just
for me.
making
You're
stuff
making it up.
up.
There's no book. We're not stupid.
There's no
well, I'm not
book.
stupid. There's
Look
no.
up
Will you
Simon
shut the
Greenleaf's
fuck
book.
up for a minute, please? Can you shut your fat fucking mouth up for a second? Okay, here's the deal. I was a lawyer. I'm telling you, this guy that you're saying, I don't know who you're talking about or where he was licensed or what court he's talking about. People can write any bullshit they want, but you cannot go into court with evidence that is not authenticated, that there's no witness to cross-examine. You have the right to cross-examine people. Otherwise, you could bring in anything. You can't say, yeah, but it seems like these things match each other. There's no such thing.
So, Joe, then you dismiss like Alexander the Great existed, right?
No. Okay, you said court of law first of all. So number one, that's
What did I say about a court of law?
You said this is admissible as like in a judge or court of law.
No, what was the full thing that I said?
Oh shoot.
I remember everything you fucking said. I don't even remember everything I said.
What's the claim that I made?
Oh, Void, I'm gonna drop you, but I'll bring you back. You're struggling to connect in. Wait, actually, well.
Yeah, so now that that's clear. Now that that's
no,
clear,
it's not clear. What was the claim I made?
The claim that you made was that.
Why should I remember every? Is this your debating
not
tactic? What size is my left? Is this your debating tactic? If I can't remember every fucking thing you just said, then I can't continue the debate.
Just to say what my basic claim
I don't know what
is.
your dumb It was a dumb comment, and I don't remember dumb things because I don't want to remember.
Okay, so you're arguing
dumb
what you don't
things.
even know I said.
You said this is a court of law would accept this, and some cocksucker wrote a book and proved to the legal world and to the intellectual
Who was that
world.
cocksucker?
Who knows? You didn't say his name, did you? What's his name, fuckface?
His name was Simon Greenleaf. He was a Harvard professor. He founded the evidentiary rules of eyewitness testimony.
Bullshit. I was a lawyer. He's wrong. You're wrong.
Okay, then show me how I'm wrong.
Jesus. He did not say anything about Jesus. You're a lying piece of shit.
Simon Greenleaf did not write a book about Jesus.
He did not write anything that a 200-year-old testimony, 800-year-old testimony, 2,000-year-old testimony, you could bring into a fucking court and say, hey, judge, here's an old book I wrote. You can't cross-examine the person. You can't authenticate it. No one knows what this is. It's a piece of fragment or whatever. There's no such thing. There's not even close to such a thing. So stop fucking deceiving people. Now, if you want to make the argument that you believe it, and that's fine. As far as Alexander the Great, that's a separate argument. There's tons of evidence for Alexander the Great. But don't say it's admissible in court by Simon fucking Greenface.
Yeah, I am. Okay, so when it comes to me, like, I'm open-minded to it, but also, like, saying, like, documents that are, like, decades old, if not thousands of years old, I'm not sure that'd be admissible in court.
It's for sure it won't be. For sure.
But, like,
especially
I'll look into it. I'll read it. Like, send me the article. I'll read it.
So just talk to any lawyer in any state in any fucking court. I mean, it's any law school. He's a law school in your state, a law professor. Call up the law school. Say, I'd like to speak to a law professor. Ask one simple question or email them. You know, you can't just spew this bullshit. Now, you can believe it. Now, as far as Alexander, that's another matter. There's tons of evidence. There's cities named after Alexander. There's peace treaties signed. Each country has a history of Alexander because he conquered them. Aristotle was Alexander the Great's tutor, and he went with him. So I'm not saying nothing's 100% like I can say for sure, but there's a heck of a lot more. I would think most historians would say there's much more evidence for Alexander the Great. But as far as the legal stuff,
there's more evidence. That's complete. There's more evidence for Jesus.
Okay, so I just dropped the link for Simon Greenleaf, one of the founders of Harvard Law, in the chat. You can click that link and open up the article of the testimony of the evangelists. And
that's the name of the book.
If you can still hand wave him in your professional capacity as a lawyer, then maybe you are the Einstein of the law field. But
I've seen, you don't have to be. Go to a courtroom. Go to a case. I don't care what. In other words, I don't know who. I never heard of this guy. I went to law school. I'm not a lawyer anymore. I'm telling you, you cannot bring old documents in. It's hearsay. I'm not going to read this whole guy's book. All you have to do is talk to any courtroom. Don't you know anything? You just go to any court, anyone, any law professor, and ask them.
Okay,
going on.
so
any judge, go to a judge.
So can I ask you a question? Mr. Lawyer?
Who cares? I'm just a fucking lawyer. I'm not Mr. fucking lawyer. I'm not even a lawyer anymore. Yeah. What the fuck's the deal? Don't you know common sense? You can.
So then why do you keep appealing to a dickhead
anymore? Either.
Why do you keep appealing to a dickhead?
Appealing to what?
The fact that you are a lawyer. Keep up, idiot.
I'm not I know, but you're so dumb that you can't even know the law. You don't have to know this to be a lawyer.
All you're good for is insults. Gotcha. So anyways, let me move on.
Where in this book
Let me move on. Let me move on.
Bullshit book.
Let me move on. Anyways, let me move on. Let me move on. Can you? So do you mean to tell me? Let me ask you a question. Would Anne Frank's journal be permissible in the trial against the Nazi Germans or the Nazis in their Nuremberg trials?
You could authenticate Anne Frank if it can be authenticated, and you probably can authenticate. We have pictures of Anne Frank. We have lots of documents.
I'm not sure what a picture has to do with a journal, but sure.
Well, I'm not sure.
I would agree. I would agree that if we could authenticate that journal to Anne Frank, that and it documented her authentic experience, that we could, that would be permissible as evidence in court. What do you mean, maybe?
I said maybe. It's complicated. I'm not sure what you're trying to prove. It depends on what document what you're trying to prove. It's not so simple. Generally speaking, you can't bring evidence into court unless you have the person there. Now, if the person's dead, there are some exceptions to the rule that are kind of complicated. I don't remember all of them. But it's not like generally, with Anne Frank, you can authenticate who she was, and she lived almost around that time. So it's a little different than something hundreds of years older. As a PSA
to the live, it is a fact of history that Anne Frank's journal or her diary was used as crucial evidence in multiple cases used to convict the Nazis in their trials. So there is a legal precedent for written documents from the past being used as evidence if it can be authenticated to the individual. So your point is moot.
If it's authenticated, and the Nurembergs were highly unusual trials.
So then you're attacking. So then you would see the point that you're attacking the wrong point.
No, the Nuremberg trials are different, and they invented rules as they went. They never existed. They are. You don't have the rules of the Nuremberg trial in every courtroom in the United States.
Can I ask
I'm not
question?
saying that you do, but I'm saying that there's a legal precedent set in that trial. I'm not saying that this has to be all applicable, omni-applicable.
And she didn't, and you cannot bring miracles into court whatsoever. You cannot. That's why ever since the Salem
why not?
trial,
So then you mean to tell me?
Spectral evidence is not allowed in court. Spectral evidence is not allowed.
Whoa. So you mean to tell me that something like the historical event, like the quote unquote miracle at places like at Tixla or at
I don't know about this, and I don't know if Anne Frank's book was I don't know if Anne Frank's diary was let into the Nuremberg trials. I'm Jewish, and I don't even know that.
Google it.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, in court today, you can't bring Anne Frank's. You can't bring something like that in.
What do you mean? If it was relevant to the case, yes, you could. I'm not sure why you would just now be finding a Nazi to prosecute, and where he would probably be in his literal hundreds, but it would be used
bodies,
if it was applicable.
Concentration camps, you had records, you had plenty of evidence. I don't know.
That's why if it was listen, I'm not a lawyer, but I know the basics of law, and you're still not tracking. This is
skeptical that prove that Anne Frank's diary, which people can read in school, was used I've never heard that, was used in the Nuremberg trials? I never heard that.
It was. I'm saying it was. It's a historical fact.
I don't know. So, but she didn't fly and rise from the dead.
Do you want me to copy and paste you a link in the chat? Do you want me to put a link in the chat?
Okay, so
we've been given sources all night, and y'all have not given one.
This is the problem: is that you're not sourcing anything. You're just rhetoric, just pure rhetoric and hand waving. Yeah, we keep bringing you sources. I'm telling you, this book is written. You wave it off. Who even knows if that book was ever even written?
God is not real. Look, your cunt God.
That's fine if you feel that way, dude.
I don't feel it.
You're only good
obvious.
For insults, bro.
It's
You're
stupid.
only good for insults, bro. Go.
Yeah.
Your God
engage your brain.
Engage
your brain. Use your brain.
Your cunt God rapes women, burns women alive.
Crazy. You think you're
he's going to get you banned. He's going to get the live
soldiers to kill babies.
Hold on. Say grape for
I'm just saying.
Word,
yes.
and then, say
I don't know, Coco. This guy doesn't have the emotional control to even do this.
Your God.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm done with this guy.
It's ridiculous.
This is the most useless discussion I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it's not even.
Okay, we
it's
all
not,
believe in Jesus
It's not
now
rigorous.
because some.
It's not intellectually rigorous. This guy is just
You're not
insulting and
intellectually very
cursing.
rigorous at all. Your standards are
Bro,
poor,
you're
and you don't.
Mark. When we got
literally just
Mark, when
cried
we
about
got into
sources
it,
when you said it's the source for your previous claim right before that was, well, it's just historical fact. But then in the next sentence you say, well, and you don't bring any sources.
what historical
Pretty
facts?
crazy.
What are you
historical
talking about?
facts?
You
What are
said that it
talking
was a
about?
historical fact that Anne Frank's diary was used in the Nuremberg trials.
And I asked if you wanted me to give
hang
you a
on, I'm
link
not
in the
done
chat.
speaking.
I
I'm not done
asked you if you
speaking.
wanted me to give
have
you
a
the
problem
link.
with this. You have a problem with speaking over people. Let me
I
finish
know
my
you're not
sentence.
talking.
You do
Shut
the
up,
same
bro.
thing,
You're such
Mark.
a
Get
hypocrite,
outta here.
bro. Shut up.
I have not finished a sentence since I've been in here with you. That's why I've been constantly interrupting you.
Oh,
No,
it-
you actually
okay, bro.
set
Okay,
the tone.
bro. Yo.
You set the tone of talking
Okay,
over
bro.
people.
I'm sorry, what
Okay,
about
bro.
Anne Frank? I was fully gone for a minute.
Yeah, it's taking a
They were
turn.
claiming
It
that
proves
Anne
Jesus Christ
Frank-
walked on
They're
on
saying
water
that
because a
their
Jewish girl
argument is
died
that-
by
No,
a.
do not. No,
Shut
no,
up,
no, no, no,
shut
no,
up.
no.
Alright,
That
okay,
is
so
definitely a
if
straw
you-
man.
Host,
They're-
thank you, host.
they're-
Let me give the
Christian
point, host.
fascist.
Host, let me give the
Give me
let me
voices.
get let me
I
catch
just-
him
No,
up.
you've been talking enough. I want to address
Let me
Jesus
catch
Christ
him up.
walked on
Saying-
water because Christians killed Anne Frank.
Bro, okay, yeah.
alive,
Let
bro.
host. Come
Okay,
on now.
Jesus
Let me
Christ
catch
walked
him up.
on water because Nazi Christians exterminated Jews.
Just not
Stop.
probably.
Can't say anything. You could.
Our
They were
TikTok is very
Schnazis.
sensitive.
This
Okay,
dude is just
Jesus Christ walked on water
this
because
dork, bro.
Schnazi-
I'm not sure what
Schnazi-
you want to do with him.
Christian Schnazis exterminated my relatives.
Joe, just
That's
let
better.
me address. I want to address something.
No,
that they said
no, no, no,
real
no,
quick.
no. Black, I'm just gonna catch you up.
You might as well say
To be
that.
honest, like,
reason
how
as
do
to
we move
why-
on? We do probably should move on. To be honest.
I mean, if the way we move on is by Joe stopping all of this ad hominem insulting and making an actual argument.
He's actually not ad hominem.
People can't raise from the dead, and people
Shut
don't
up,
walk
bro.
on water.
Shut up.
Yeah.
It's physically
He's just saying you're
impossible
wrong
to
and
walk
dumb,
on water.
so that's not
History
technically
doesn't
Hold up,
include
everyone
miracles.
chill. Everyone chill.
Go
Everyone
ahead.
chill.
You got it.
Why did we bring up Anne Frank?
Let's do that.
Because
They're
okay,
one
so
person at a time.
thank you. Let
They're
me
making
let
one
me
person
give you
at
the
a time.
reason why. Because I brought it up, so let me give you the reason why. No,
No,
I
because-
brought it up, so let me give you the reason why.
Nope,
Shut
nope,
up.
Hold up,
Mark.
hold up, hold up,
Stop
hold up.
talking.
Everyone hold
Shut the
up,
fuck up
everyone
real
hold
quick.
up, everyone hold up, everyone hold up. You will give your answer in the comments. Did Mark bring up Anne Frank first?
Yeah, type it in the comments.
Give your
No.
answer in the comments.
No, I didn't.
No, he knows
I
he
was on
didn't.
mute
Type
for
it
like
in the
30
comments,
minutes.
folks. We gotta move on. Is it?
Type it in the comments.
But anyway, there's
You're
10
both shooting off. Type it in the comments.
There's 9 people here. Thank you guys for being here. If you can, tap your screens like the live. Yesterday, I was doing a TikTok shop live because I was trying to make money for TikTok, and I'm going to continue to do those. I am going to advertise brands and do brand deals. And today's just kind of a casual debate day on Sunday. I'm typically live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and now Saturday. Yeah, those are the days that I'm live. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. I'm around. And I'm an agnostic.
I thought you were an atheist, Coco.
I'm psychologically an atheist, but not philosophically. But I identify more so as an agnostic.
Respect.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty, so do you want me to? Did you want me to?
I want you to answer in the comments.
Oh yeah, just type it in the comments.
I already said
Okay,
that.
so
He's the one, they're the
okay.
ones who brought it up.
Hey, both of you calm down. Both of you calm down.
We need
What, bro, I'm not charged. I was just asking what you want me to do.
Everybody love everybody.
I'll repeat what I want you to do. I want you both in the comments to say who brought up Anne Frank first. Okay, so I will talk to Dub about this. Why was Anne Frank brought up?
I'm so confused. Okay. Anyway, so Anne Frank was brought up because the guy who was previously here, who left, he kept bringing up the fact that he was a lawyer in response to the point that the other guy next to me, brought up of a Harvard founder, a Harvard law founder, writing a book or article stating the fact that the testimonies given in the Gospels would be admissible as evidence in a court of law in America. Now, he said that it was preposterous that of an idea. As a lawyer, it was preposterous of a thought that some written document from the past could be used as evidence in a court proceeding. And
I've got a ridiculous proposition.
Hang on.
Wait, hold up.
Coco,
First, I want to
really
respond to
wanna
that real
address
fast.
Oh,
Hold on,
sorry,
guys.
sorry,
I want
sorry
to
about that
respond to
mute.
that real fast.
Oh, wait,
guys, I'm gonna.
I want you.
Okay,
to respond to that real fast.
wait, hold on, wait, okay, wait.
When it comes
How about
down-
this? How about this? Slick finish, Black respond, and then Force will go after. But I am planning on Force is probably gonna go live, and I'm probably gonna move over to his live.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. Is that I'm. If you guys want to come over to mine, and y'all can go right back to it. Just Coco, text me, and then I'll let you go live and just use my platform. But I need 2 of y'all at least to be dedicated mods because I don't want to lose the platform if somebody says something crazy.
Oh yeah, I'll be a mod.
So just text me.
I'll be on for a while if you want to do that for me. But
Yeah, I'll be at work until 9:30. So yeah, just whenever you're ready, text me and I'll do that.
Bet.
all right.
Okay, but go ahead, Slick, finish up, and then Black Stallion will go, and then honestly, I'll just call it and then text Forrest.
okay, bet. Yeah, so he said that it was a preposterous thought that any written document any written testimonial in document form would be permissible in a legal proceeding. And I asked him a question of, did he think, as in his professional capacity, or in his given his professional opinion, would he think that Anne Frank's diary or her journal would be used as evidence against Nazis in their trials? He said absolutely, or he said he didn't know. And I said absolutely. And I asked him if he wanted me to give him the evidence, because I said that it was a historical fact that her diary was used as evidence against many of the criminals in the Nuremberg trials. Therefore, there was legal precedent for written testimonials being used as evidence in court, or as evidence. So his point was basically proven invalid, but we really didn't get a point or a chance to fully delve into it because he just started going off.
Okay.
And then Mark butted
Okay,
in,
so
Go ahead, Black Stallion.
you done?
yeah, that's it.
So those are 2 different things used for 2 separate reasons. Would you like me to explain why?
What are you referring to? 2 separate things, 2 separate reasons. What
When
are
it
you
comes
referring
down to Anne Frank and Germany, I say it all the time, but now I'm forgetting if it was 40 or 30. 1940s
40s?
Germany, when it comes down to Anne Frank, they were using that as a characterization testimony from someone who is deceased, but we have evidence that this was written by a little girl due to the penmanship, what was stated, and we have other corresponding testimonies given by people who were still alive. So we have no reason to assume this was a little girl's imagination.
I would agree. And that's what we were getting into, is that if we can corroborate and authenticate these testimonials to the author and to their experience, to their lived experience, then it will be deemed credible, correct? We agree.
Incorrect. You have a very small flaw that is not.
We're specifically
Wait,
talking about the Anne Frank case because it is a historical fact.
Explain where your flaw is.
No, because we're talking about the historical facts here.
Okay,
We're just going over the agreed facts.
Okay, the historical fact. To my knowledge, the Gospels are not written within a week of the crucifixion of Jesus. Yes or no?
When was that a criteria? You just added that arbitrarily.
Hold up. I'm showing you why this becomes less and less of a criteria by showing.
You're just pulling that out of the air.
No, I'm not.
Is that a legal criteria?
I'm trying to show you. Hold up. I'm trying to show you why we don't treat the Gospels as a credible source by showing you
In
how
what
far back
regard? A
we
credible
And
have-
who
source in
is
what
we?
regard?
The
Who is
regard
we?
is
Who is
the
we and a
regard
credible
is-
source in
the
what regard?
The regard is
Who is we?
the fact that the who said we?
You said we. You said we
You
do
said
not
we.
regard this as
We,
fact
as
because
in
of-
atheists, as in critical scholars of the Gospels.
No. Critical scholars of the Gospels agree that they're eyewitness testimonies, so that's not correct.
Okay, so I guess I just mean as atheists, we do not believe the Gospels of the Skull.
Not true.
Yeah, the Gospel of the people
No,
who claim to have seen
specifically,
Jesus
the
are not true.
Gospels and critical scholarship are known, and the consensus is that they were written by non-eyewitnesses. Like, that's a fact. You can look it up.
Again, we're not making the point that every single gospel is a first-person eyewitness, but we are making the affirmative that every gospel is an eyewitness testimony, either firsthand, secondhand, tertiary. At the end of the day, all of them. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Your epistemic problem here is that eyewitness testimony is one very specific thing. It has to come from the eyewitness. If it comes from any other vector, it is non-eyewitness testimony. The diary of Anne Frank was written by who?
Bro, if you would just listen.
The diary of Anne Frank?
Bro, stop talking and listen for once.
No,
stop
I want you
talking
to
and
concede
listen.
the point that eyewitness
Stop
testimony
talking
has
and
to
listen.
come from eyewitnesses.
Stop talking and listen.
Eyewitness
Stop talking
testimony.
and listen.
Eyewitness.
Anyway, I gave the definition of eyewitness testimony in the chat. I know what it means, and we all agreed on what it means. We then talked about the method in which you can distribute that testimony. If you are telling me that because you distribute that testimony secondhand rather than firsthand, that discredits the evidence altogether or the testimony altogether, then I'm telling you that logic is flawed inherently.
That's not where my logic was coming from. Mark, was that where
Well,
your
that's
logic
where
was coming from?
Mark's and that's the host is coming from.
Okay, hold up. I'm asking Mark. Is that where his logic was coming from?
Wrap it up, guys.
So the problem is,
Can I ask a simple question real quick? A simple question.
We gotta wrap it up, folks.
We can all go to Forest is live. We can just wrap it up. We can just wrap it up.
Okay. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Jewish, you got first point one on the next live.
I just want to ask a simple question that if a stenographer wrote down the eyewitness testimony of somebody on a stand, and then we found that stenographer's writings 200 years later, is it still eyewitness testimony?
No, it is secondhand testimony.
Wow. Okay. That's going to be our point that we get into on the next. But host, how do I get to the next live?
You see the guy named Forrest Mendez in the comments?
Yeah.
Just follow him.
Follow him and go to his live when he goes live. But we might be talking about something different, but like either way, we'll talk about it later.
Thanks, Coco.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're always welcome. I love all of you.
Thanks, sir. Later, guys.
Have a good one.